Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Master Show Live. It's good to see all of you here. This is show number 2. We were on earlier today with Andy Sandberg, who is the CEO and artistic director of the Hermitage Artist Retreat in Florida, also Tony-winning producer and director. And it was really great having him on earlier. If you didn't see that episode, he was live with us at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and that episode is available on our YouTube channel. Over 400 episodes thus far of the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, which we started almost a year ago. And as many of you know who are fans of our show, this is born out of my professional work as a television and radio personality and host, presenter, journalist, actor, writer, producer, stage MC, voiceover artist for a long time on television, radio, and stage and more. And we created this show many moons ago with over 400 episodes live daily. And this weekend, 2 shows today. We've got another show tomorrow with Ryan Kelly from Celtic Thunder joining us live from Ireland. That's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern. We look forward to that. And a bevy of incredible guests coming up throughout the week. This show is, of course, hearkening back to the old school talk shows. You may remember, we say with warmth and a conversational style. Think Dick Cavett and Johnny Carson and Merv Griffin and Mike Douglas, some of those classic TV hosts, and the way that those shows spent a little time and just really got involved with the audience. And I love doing it that way, in a warmer, more welcoming way. And then we blended it in with that modern vibe and modern twist of today. The viewers call themselves the Lovities, which is kind of cool. They're part of our Lovity squad. They come from all around the world. We have an international audience of viewers, and that's because I said light, love, and levity a little too fast in the summertime, and all of a sudden out came the word Lovity. And everybody has fallen in love with that word ever since we said it. And I think that's really fantastic. So the show has a lot of levity to it. Good times, amazing guests, inspiration. And the guests come from all around: Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, culinary arts, sports, comedy, inspiration, you name it. And it's a pleasure to have everybody here. Of course, traditionally, when we start the show, we do it in style, and we welcome everybody to JMS Live, the Jim Master Show Live. And I always think that I'm at church and I should be doing this. But we always greet you and we welcome you. It's a good experience. And if you're not having a good day today, we always perk you up with a smile. So welcome, everybody. It's good to have you with us on the show tonight. Thanks for joining us. And let's check in, as we always do, with some of our Lovity viewers watching literally all around the world. Willie, who's watching in the Netherlands, says this is her 300th episode of the Jim Master Show Live. Well, thank you very much, Willie. That is dedication. You really are a Lovity, and hope you're doing well. Juanita is watching in South Africa, and she's always here. Hello, Jim and Lovity squad. Nice to see you as well, Juanita. Merlin is watching in Ontario, Canada. Back again, Jim, all the Lovities. That's right, for show number 2, our second show of the day. And Kathy Short is here. Good evening, Jim and Lovities. I hope everyone enjoyed their dinner break. We actually didn't get a chance to have dinner. We had to figure out a couple of technical things. And then we were actually, after the afternoon show, we live along the ocean here, as you know, on the coast, in the greater New York area, between New York and Boston, along the southern New England coast. And we went along the coast a little bit, and it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful today along the coast here. So dinner will be after tonight's episode. Crystal is in Connecticut. Hi, Jim and everyone. Happy Saturday. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Looking forward to an amazing show, an inspiring conversation, and, of course, our famous Lovity. We love that. We love that. Nice to see everybody here. Mona is watching in Louisiana, USA. Hi, Jim, and welcome Lee to Lovity Hall. I already told her about the whole Lovity thing, and she loves the Lovity idea. Everybody tends to, which is great. Christine Clifton watching in North Carolina, and she says, good evening, Jim and Lovity friends. Welcome actress Lee Purcell to the JMS Live tonight. Cheers, Jim and Lee and Lovities. Thank you very much, Christine. Nice to have you here. Rhonda Murphy. Hi, Jim and Lovities from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Nice to see you here as well, Rhonda. And Rain Hall is here. Good evening from Illinois. Nice to see you in Illinois. And of course, Crystal is giving us cheers as we toast everybody. And it's nice to see all the smiling faces here in Wozniak and Jacksonville, Florida. Good evening, Jim and everyone. Again, hope everyone had some time for dinner or at least a snack. We haven't had a thing yet. But hey, working in this industry, you eat on the run a lot. So Kathleen is in New York City. Hello, Jim and fellow lovelies. Welcome back. Nice to see you here again. And Claudia Bartow is here. Hey, everybody. Good to see you, Claudio. Thank you very much for joining us. And of course, we welcome everybody. And it's nice to see all of you. And thanks again for joining us on our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. If you missed any episodes, you can find all of them 24/7, 365 on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. It's all there for you. Amazing guests, incredible conversations. We've done on-location segments. We've done food shows. We've done host chat, levity episodes. We've done so many different things. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. We would love that. Many of you have, and that's really a great thing. That's Jim Masters TV. And you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, Twitch, Instagram, and at the supermarket at Jim Masters TV. But the channel you're watching right now is where we house all of the episodes of our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, The Jim Masters Show Live. So we would love it if you subscribe to that channel and also click the notification bell so you don't miss any of the episodes of our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, because I know a lot of you like to be here live so you can participate in the actual show. So feel free to share the levity and share that channel with all of your friends and loved ones as well. We would love if you could do that. And thank you so very much. Lee Purcell is here tonight. That's right. We are very excited to have her here. She's all excited, and we were just chatting, having a nice chat before we got everything together here. Prime-Time Emmy-nominated actress Lee Purcell recently completed a starring role in the upcoming feature film Carol of the Bells. That was actually released 2019, and that was with director Joey Travolta and was for Inclusion Films. She is the recipient of 2 Prime-Time Emmy nominations, her first being for Long Road Home, starring opposite Mark Harmon, and the second for Secret Sins of the Fathers, starring opposite Beau Bridges. She also completed the TV pilot Sick and was also recently seen in the film JL Ranch opposite Jon Voight, and in Kids vs. Monsters opposite Malcolm McDowell, and in Love at First Glance opposite Amy Stewart. In her extensive career, the acclaimed actress has earned numerous film, television, and stage credits, including her role as Louise St. Laurent on the international TV series Due South, and as a sultry stepmom in the iconic film Valley Girl as well with Nicolas Cage. Lee was also seen as Eleanor Sullivan in the NBC TV primetime series Persons Unknown with Chadwick Boseman, created by Oscar winner Christopher McQuarrie. Fans around the world also frequently reach out to Lee for her role as Peggy in the cult favorite film Big Wednesday. She absolutely is incredible as an ingenue. Lee's film career began when she was personally selected and mentored by legendary movie star Steve McQueen to star as a small-town girl, high school student that is, in McQueen's Solar Productions film Adam at 6 a.m. opposite Michael Douglas. She was also grateful to McQueen for his casting and mentoring her, and cherishes the time spent with him as well. She's also a dancer too, was performing in the traveling troupe at the age of 13, was chosen by Neiman Marcus to be a runway child model for the flagship store in Dallas, Texas too, at age 3, and began modeling professionally then as well. She's also directed and produced live theater, and co-owner and performer of critically acclaimed troupe of well-known actors and musicians who performed Western heritage literature and music from the 1800s, and so much more. And that is just the short list. She's involved in countless charitable organizations as well. She serves on the board of directors of the Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, an elected position as well. An illustrious career, extraordinary national treasure. And guess what? She's with us live from Los Angeles, California. Lee, welcome to the show. It's nice to have you with us tonight.
Thank you, Jim. It's nice to be here and with you and all of the lovities.
All the lovities. That's right. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Lovity.
It's really cool. It's such a happy accident that you actually said that, and now it's turned into this whole thing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's just something that just sparked and just happened, and we've just rolled with it. Because I think, definitely we've needed some levity in the last year or so, haven't we?
Yes, we needed a lot of things during the last year. Oh, I hope it's
H-
over. I hope it's over
How
soon.
have you been during it all? Were you working on any projects, or was there anything that sort of came to a halt or a pause, last year in March, when everything sort of broke loose?
Uh, Kind of all the above,
Yeah.
actually. There were some projects that were scheduled and then they weren't. And we're still waiting on those. And so I had to kind of vamp and learn how to do other things. I learned how to perform on Zoom, and that's been really interesting and
Yeah.
fun, actually fun. And we're still doing it. It's a group of people. It's a actually a committee from the union that I'm so involved in, SAG-AFTRA, as you mentioned, and it's called the SAG-AFTRA Radio Players. And so at the beginning, we all said, because we perform live, and
Yeah.
and we're like, oh my gosh, what do we do now? So we little by little learned how to do this on Zoom, what we do, and and then we made an agreement with the foundation, our charitable foundation at SAG-AFTRA, to furnish the shows that they can use for fundraising. And so we've been archiving those, and we're almost done. And then they'll be turned over to the foundation. So it's really cool. The next one we're doing is Life of Riley. We do old time radio shows, and we're doing Life of Riley from I think it was the 50s, I think. And
Yeah.
then and then I'm directing War of the Worlds after that.
Oh,
So
wow.
that yeah, so that's going to be because I'm like one of the last people alive who actually worked with Orson Welles. So I'm doing this kind of as an homage to Orson, and we're doing the original 1938 version. So,
Wow.
just a lot. I've actually had a really busy time during the
Yeah.
pandemic. Not busy in the way, you know, we are normally busy, but busy in a different way. And it's been a learning experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm hoping that, we experience more empathy and kindness and compassion through it all. That would be a beautiful thing if that was one of the, you know, end or byproducts of everything that we've been through, huh?
That would be great. And I think so. I think people have had to learn, I know I have, patience,
Yeah.
and which is, I've always been real short of. And I've had to learn a lot of patience, and I think that does develop into empathy if you have
Yeah.
patience.
Exactly right. I want to show you some of the levity coming your way, Lee.
Oh, goody.
Christine Clifton in North Carolina says, Lee, welcome to the Jim Master Show Live, and thanks for joining us tonight to share more of your career life with us. You are now a levity. I always say to guests, I
Oh,
say,
thank you, Christine.
there's Oscars, there's Tonys and Tellys and Emmys and Grammys and all these wonderful things. And then there's the
You
levity on the Jim Master Show Live. How does it make you feel?
good. You have to design a little statue.
I know we
Like,
have to do that. We have to
yeah,
do
some
that.
kind of graphic. You have to do a graphic.
We got to come up with a graphic. Kathy
Yeah.
Short in Cleveland says, welcome as well, Lee
Hi,
and Willie.
Kathy.
She's watching in the Netherlands in Holland where it's like 1
Oh,
a.m. She's
wow.
always
Hi,
here.
Willie.
Yeah, she welcomes you and Merlin in Canada. Hi,
Merlin.
Willie. Hi, Lee. Welcome to our Lovety Hall.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Merlin.
Kathleen in New York City says, hi, Lee, and welcome. And
Thank you, Kathleen.
Juanita's in South Africa, where it's very late. It's
Oh,
already tomorrow. Welcome to the show, Lee.
thank you,
And
Juanita.
yeah, a lot of levity coming your way. Crystal Nolan in Connecticut. Hi, Lee. Welcome to Levity Hall.
Hi, Crystal. Thank you.
This is nice. Yeah, it's nice when
It's
everybody.
very nice. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
it's like a
if you don't
spring
feel
breeze.
good, just check into the Jim Master Show Live. We'll always try to make people feel good and lift them up. Maddie Jade says, hi, Lee.
Hi, Maddie. Maddie, how are
Yeah.
you?
She's watching, which is great.
Maddie
Hi,
runs my
Maddie.
fan. She runs my fan page. She created it actually on
Oh,
Instagram.
Oh, so she
Yeah,
probably shared the link to this episode on the fan page, which is fantastic. Thank you,
maybe,
Maddie.
maybe. Thank you,
Yeah.
Maddie.
Yeah, the YouTube link, Maddie, is what you would share so people can see this live now, or they can see it. It'll be available 24/7 afterwards as well. Nice to welcome you, Maddie. I like your profile photo too. That's cool. It looks like springtime flowers. Jennifer Barry's watching
She's
in
great.
Allentown, Pennsylvania. Lee, welcome. Love ya.
Thank you, Jennifer.
So if you have a bad day, you just come here.
Oh yeah, I just come here. I'm just gonna. Oh, it's
What
nice.
was it like, now that you mentioned it, what was it like working with Orson Welles? That must have been extraordinary.
Well, it was very interesting. I got along great with Orson. It was a very long time ago. I was very young, and it was in a movie called. I forget what it was called. It'll come to me in a minute. But people can look at just Lee and Orson. But what's really interesting about that movie was that it was only the second one I ever did, and Adam is 6 a.m. for Steve McQueen being first. And I met people on that movie that I am still friends with to this day.
Mm,
And now they're children.
yeah.
It was great. You meet people and you get along and you're friends, and that's it. So with Orson, Orson of course was larger than life, and
Yeah.
he had the most fantastic voice I've ever heard.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
And I mean that resonant,
Yeah.
beautiful voice.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it was a great voice. And Orson was treated like a king. And we, the youngsters, were not treated very well, but that was okay. We were young. But so Orson every day, his chef would come out of the chef trailer, and then Orson would come out of the Orson 50-foot trailer, and they would lay down white linen and silver and crystal and bring it the wine selection and say, Mr. What would you like today, Mr. Wells? And they would cook these fantastic meals outside on the grill. For us, there were about 5 or 6 of us youngsters. They would come out and throw at us, literally throw, a brown paper bag at each of us. Here, Lee, you see my hand? Here's your lunch, and here, Lisa,
Yeah.
there's your lunch. And then it would be something like a soggy tuna fish sandwich, kind
Mm,
of a wormy apple, and a can of
mm.
Coke. And
That's it.
but we didn't care. We
But
didn't care.
you were on
Yeah,
set, and yeah.
with Orson, and we were working, and we were getting paid, and it was a crazy script about witches, and Orson played a warlock, which is a male witch, and I played Orson's protege. So I had a lot of time with Orson, and he was great to me. He was great. I loved him. I just
Mm,
thought he was
yeah.
fabulous.
I mean, that must have been just, especially at that younger age, you were
Yeah,
a mere child, right?
yeah. I was really, really young. I don't know, teenager.
Mm, mm.
Um, but it was a great. I mean, other than the lunch, and then also they threw me in a pond that was filled with algae, and it was really nasty. And that
Mm.
was there was no stunt double, and that would never be allowed now.
So,
And they just kept saying, I kept lifting my head up to breathe, and like, no, put your head down. We're filming. It's like, I'm dying here, and I was in this algae-filled pond. So you live and learn.
so things have gotten better since then, haven't they?
Things have improved. Yes, exponentially. Yes, thank God.
They've gone in the
Yeah,
right direction.
they've gone in the right direction. Yeah, although it was a treasure to work with Orson. This literally, I am one of the few
Oh,
people
yeah.
left
Yeah.
who can
That
say, "Oh yeah, I
that you
worked with
worked
Orson." It's like,
with. Yeah, with the legend. Steve McQueen, too, who gone way too soon, and another brilliant
Steve.
actor. And yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant actor and talent and so much more, and inspired so many people. You had a wonderful friendship, and he sort of
yes,
mentored you
he
in a
did mentor
wonderful
me.
way. Tell us about that relationship and how that came to be, Lee. That's fascinating.
Well, he changed my life, and because I was really just nobody, nobody from nowhere. And he chose me out of 500 actresses to play this role in his film called Adam at 6 a.m. And there was a huge audition process that went on for months and months. I think I auditioned maybe 5 times, and they kept culling and narrowing it down until there were like 5 of us or something. And he was, I don't know, I could actually write a book about him because he was so wonderful to me and so giving and such a good teacher to me in so many ways. How, because I had never done a movie, and it was Michael's third movie, but I was hired before Michael, which never happened again. But um, he he taught me how to behave on a set, how, who were the key players, um, who could help me, and he taught me a lot of things. Just taught me how to manage money. He taught me how to exercise, and the strange thing, and I look up here because I'm looking at a book in my office, where I first learned this. But every day I would go to his office, and because he wanted me, I was really skinny. I was a skinny little model dancer type, and he's like, "You got to gain some weight because this is basically a Missouri kind of Midwest girl, and she wouldn't
Yeah.
be as skinny as you are." And but he didn't want me to gain weight in the wrong way or the wrong places. So he said, "We're going to work out." So I would go to his office and we would work out, and he would teach me these exercises. And one day I said to him, "How do you know all this? Where are you learning all these exercises?" And he said, "Oh, they weren't called personal trainers in those days. They were just called like a fitness expert, something like that." And he said, I have this wonderful, wonderful Chinese guy who knows everything about fitness and about karate and just everything. So he teaches me, and then I teach you." And I'm like,
Mm.
"Okay, great." So I don't know, 30 years later or something, when I was interviewed, I've been interviewed a lot about Steve, and I'm in a
Yeah.
bunch of books about him.
Yeah.
And so this interview said to me, "Do you know who that was? The Chinese fitness expert?" I said, "No." And he said, "Bruce Lee."
Mm.
So it was like, wow. So I guess
Yeah.
by osmosis, I got trained by Bruce Lee. But we had, I don't know, I could go on and take up our whole hour. But we had a lot in common. And like I got a call on a Saturday morning, and I'd already auditioned, I think 2 or 3 times. I got a call on a Saturday morning. I was out in the yard, like digging and planting stuff. And it was a studio, and they said, "You need to come over right now." And I said, "Oh, okay." Just, and I didn't know why, but you do what you're asked to do in that situation. And I said, "Let me just take a quick shower and change." He said, "No, no, you have 10 minutes to get here." It's like, okay. So I go over to the studio, and which is in Studio City, actually,
Hmm.
which is not far from where I am. And I thought, well, I'm just going to pick up some additional scenes to do the next audition with. And I'll just run in real quick and I'll get the pages. Because remember, we didn't have email in those days.
Right.
And I thought, I'll just pick up the pages, and I'll leave real quick before anybody sees me because I look pretty messy, right? So I run into I run into the office, which was Steve's office. And there he is. And it was like, here I am. My hair's greasy. My nails are caked with dirt because I was digging, right? And he didn't care. He was so down to
Yeah.
earth. And he just
Right.
like, "Hey, hey, you're
Okay.
Lee and I'm Steve." And I went, "Yeah, I guess you are."
Right.
And yeah, he said, "Come on in, let's talk." And so we talked for 2 or 3 hours. And just we had so much in common because I rode motorcycles. He rode motorcycles. I like fast cars. He liked fast cars. We both had kind of bumpy childhoods. His was, I think, materially worse than mine.
Mm.
And we had a kind of an interesting. Remember, I was still very young, but
Mm.
I had kind of a mature outlook, I think. And so we just talked and talked and talked and talked, and then I left, and then I did the next audition, and then however many more there were, and finally a screen test, and I got the job, and and he just kept mentoring me, and kept exercising, and um, he was the best teacher I ever had.
Mm. That's extraordinary. It's a beautiful story. And
Thanks.
again, we certainly lost him way too soon. And I know that
10 years later, he was gone 10 years later.
it was
He was
10 years
50.
later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it crushed me. It
yeah.
still crushes me.
It's a total shock to everybody.
Hmm.
Spotted by Neiman Marcus. Tell us about
Well,
that. I'm
it's
sure
not
we've
like
all left a lot of money at Neiman Marcus.
it's not like I remember a lot because I was 3.
3.
I remember the work. Uh, my mother told me what happened, that we were living in Dallas. We moved a lot in my very early childhood. We moved all the time,
You
and
did, yeah.
state to state, city to city. We moved a lot. Anyway, we're living in Dallas at this particular time, and my mother said that we were walking down the street. Now, mind you, my mother was one of the world's great beauties. I mean, she really was.
Yeah.
And she said that somebody came over and stopped us and said, "I'm, whatever they said, I'm a rep from Neiman Marcus," and I think my mother thought they were going to hire her,
Yeah.
and which they should have actually, because she was so incredibly beautiful. And they said to her that they wanted to talk to me, all of 3, and
Mm.
and she said okay, and they talked to me, and I was very verbal, as I still am. You can tell. And so I was very verbose probably, and they uh, asked me to do a couple of things, walk, or take 2 steps, whatever. And I guess it was pretty simple. And so I was then hired with my mother's permission to be a runway model, a toddler model for the flagship store in Dallas. And I do remember the work. I do remember the really beautiful clothes because I loved clothes even then. And they were really beautiful. And I got to, walk up and down as people were looking and deciding if they wanted to buy this. And that was my first paying gig, was that.
Mm. Mm. That's amazing. That's amazing. What happened after that? Once you did that, where did that take you next, Lee?
Well, we moved again.
You moved again. Yeah.
So because we were always moving. So I don't know how long I did that job for because I don't remember. And I think we moved to, it was either Tulsa or Millington, which is the naval base outside of Memphis. So we moved there, and I was about 5, and I I don't know how it happened, but I got on this TV show,
Mm.
and it was a talent show, and it was called the Mid South Talent Show.
Mm.
And they had me on, and somewhere, I don't know where it is. I wish I could find it, but I have a photo that somebody took. I guess they were watching me on television, and they took a photo of me on television. I'm wearing this, cute little dress. My mother always dressed me very well, and I'm reciting a poem, and uh, and so that became an on and off about an 8-year gig,
Mm.
and so I did that very on and off, not all the time, infrequently, but I did it a lot until I was about 13, and they anyway, they would call me up and they would say, "Do you have anything?" And I would go, "Well, yeah, I just choreographed because I was choreographing pretty early." And I said, "Yeah, I just choreographed this number and it's to this song and I designed the costume." They said, "Oh, good, come over." And by this time we have moved again, and we were living, I don't know, someplace else. And so I would be driven, because I didn't drive, over to Memphis, and I would do the show and do that number and go away. And then they call me again a few weeks later and say, "What do you have?" And I have this. So sometimes I would sing, sometimes I would dance, sometimes I would act, sometimes I would be in a group and choreograph that. And so I did that until I was about 13, and then started doing traveling with this a very small troupe from my school, but it was a very professional troupe, and we had a great band leader who was a mentor to everyone, and Mr. Cooper, who only died recently, and we were
Yeah.
always in touch, and we traveled all through the Mid-South, and we did fairs and carnivals and colleges and universities and other schools and old folks' homes and all kinds of things. And I was the resident dancer, choreographer, and I also played the clarinet in the trio and sang in the quartet. And I didn't sing very well, but the other girls did. And so we did that.
That's wonderful. That's fantastic. Do you like music? Did you ever think of pursuing a music career?
Yeah, that's funny you should ask that, because I started on piano when I was about, I don't know, maybe 7. And I worked really hard at it because I really loved it. And every day after school, if I didn't have a rehearsal or a performance doing something else, because I was taking piano lessons, and I would play for 2 or 3 hours, and until it was time for dinner. And
Yeah.
and I would say, "Stop playing," and come eat. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Anyway, I started competing on a regional level and then a statewide level, and you would go to these competitions and you'd play whatever you had learned, and then you would either win or you would not. And I still have some things that I won, little pins and certificates, things like that. And so I thought that I might pursue a career in concert and be a concert pianist. But
Yeah.
then other things kind of took me away from that, dance and acting and traveling with the troupe, whatever. But I did really want to do that, and I still have my piano. I still play. I don't play as well as I did back then, but I do enjoy it. And so yeah, I did. Yeah, and I met this. What was his name? He was a very, very famous concert pianist of the era, and he had actually competed against the Russian pianist, and he had won. You know what I'm talking about?
I can visualize him. I can see
Me
him.
too. He was a tall, skinny guy,
Right.
and he became like a rock star. He was
Mm-hmm.
famous all over the globe. And my mother and my half sister and I were in an airport, the Memphis airport, and I looked over. I must have been about 9, and I'd already been studying for quite a while. So I looked over and I saw. Oh, I'm so mad I can't think of his name. He was so famous. I looked over and I saw him sitting by himself, and nobody was coming up to him. And so I got up from the table and I took a napkin and I walked over to him and said, "Hi, Mr. whatever his name was. I just want to tell you how much I love your music. And oh my gosh, I just love you so much. And I play piano too." And he was so kind and so patient and so wonderful. And he said, "Oh, that's wonderful. And well, what do you like to play?" And we talked about various composers. And I said, "Could I get your autograph on this napkin?" And he gave me his autograph. And then I said, "Thank you." And I was just floating on cloud 9. I mean, to meet him was bigger to me than meeting a rock star, which later became pretty big. But at that time, it was him. So if any of the Levitties can think of his name,
Yes. Anybody want to phone a friend or?
he was huge, and he was just so famous. It was
Hmm.
crazy. He was so famous, and nobody was bothering him in this airport.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
Yeah, right.
so yeah,
That's
I wanted to be like him. That's what I
you
wanted to do. I
did.
want to be like
Yeah,
him. Sure.
yeah. So, what made you not pursue that? The acting bug bit and opportunities
Just
came in that direction?
no, it was really well, yes and no. It's just that when because you do so many different
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
eventually something falls away.
yeah,
And I gotten into photography
yeah,
and art, and I just was pursuing so many different art forms that eventually it just kind of fell away, and which is I think a shame. On the other hand, I think everything's turned out okay.
Would you ever dabble in it again?
Well, I play. I mean, for
Yeah,
myself.
yeah,
I
yeah.
certainly wouldn't play for anybody else at this point. But no. And I look at the pieces I use today because actually have all of my music I ever had, all my sheet music that I've ever had in my whole life. I have it, and I just have boxes of it. And I look at some of it now, and I think, how did I play that? I can't play it now. Um, so no, I mean I just play for myself. That's it,
Yeah, yeah.
which I
You
enjoy. I like.
absolutely. You have that unique background talking a little bit about of being an American who trained and lived in London, and you had
Hmm.
returned to Europe many times to direct, perform, and teach as well, right?
Yes, yeah, I did. I always wanted to study in London, and but I never had the money or the wherewithal until after I did maybe my third movie maybe it was early, and I started getting paid well, and so I decided to take my grandmother, who was my best friend, to London and to Ireland, so we could see like where we came from, our ancestors, and I just wanted to take her there, and because she had done so much for me, I wanted to um, do that for her. So we went, and it was strange because I got off the plane and I was home, and I knew I was home, and I told her that, and and then that I'd always wanted to study classics there and study drama. And so we were there. We were there for several weeks, drove around. I rented a car and we went from place to place. It was really wonderful, and just fell in love with both England and Ireland. And then we came back and I packed up everything and I moved to London and started studying there. Now, since I was already a working actress in America, I had to keep coming back and forth to fund my my now very itinerant lifestyle. And so I would work in America, and then I would go back to London, and and where I had a flat, an apartment, and I studied with some wonderful teachers there, and and then I was there for about 4 years, and then I wanted to settle there or in Europe,
Mm,
but it was very difficult. It still is very difficult for American actors, and this is where I get kind of mad. But it's really hard for American actors unless you are brought there, or you marry someone, or uh, you are like a huge international star, and they overlook the fact that you don't have papers, and they just give you the papers. So, but it's not like that for most people. And I had attorneys, I had this and that because I wanted to stay, and um, it suited me there. And not that it doesn't suit me here, it does. I love my country, but I had this dream, and it was coming to an end. And so anyway, eventually I had to come home. I did it very circuitously. I went to France and see if I could stay there. No, because they're taxed at a 90% rate. And
Yeah.
then Italy, same thing. And so I finally went, I need to go home. So I came home, was very happy to be home. And then I would go back as often as I could. Sometimes I just go back for a weekend. And I and then eventually, like years later, I started teaching there and at the festivals. And because I had this weird background of being an American, I had a certain credibility with teaching. And because I was a film actress, I taught stage actors how to work on film. And so I did that until about 4 years ago, I think.
Did you
So
really
it was
you enjoyed that? You like mentoring people and inspiring them, right?
I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I don't like doing that here. It's real different. Uh,
Yeah.
I tried for a short period of time, very short, to teach children here. I never want to teach adults. And it was it was, it was chaos. So I decided I would not be doing that again. So, but it's great when you go for a finite period of time someplace else and you teach for that period of time and then you come home. So
Mm.
I like doing that. I've done that in other places here in the US, and I like doing that, but I don't like making that my life.
Right, exactly. Um, but dancing has been a part of your life as well, and you started
Hmm.
performing with a traveling troupe by the age of 13 and later danced in noted films such as Almost Summer and television shows like MacGyver. Tell us about
Hmm.
the dancing prowess too. I mean, you are multi-talented, Lee Purcell.
Well, thank you, Jim Masters, coming from you, which really are. That is a great compliment. Thank you very much. Dance was my first love. And kind of started, I think I started studying dance simultaneously with modeling at 3, probably because we had some money, a little money from the modeling. And so I
Yeah.
started taking dance classes at 3, and it just never stopped and kept going. And then I was with a couple of different companies as an adult, and then danced in some TV and some film. And then, I just kept going to class because that's what you do. I quit going to ballet class about 4 years ago, just because of injuries and so forth. And then I just got an email from them saying, we're opening again, and you should come back to class. And so I probably will. It's something that would in your blood, no matter how old you are or how many
Right.
injuries you've had. You just it's truly my first love.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in your DNA. It called your
It's
name,
in my
doesn't it?
DNA. It calls
Yeah.
my name. It just, oh my gosh, I wake up every morning to music and I dance.
Yeah.
So
That's fantastic. That's great. I mean, not only
yeah,
does it keep you, fit, but it also
it does.
keeps, those endorphins flowing, and you feel
It
alive,
does.
right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know. I had a boyfriend once who said, it's not so much that I like to watch you dance. It's like like to watch the smile on your face when
Mhm.
you dance.
When you're
And I
dancing,
thought,
right?
hmm
Yeah.
yeah,
Are you a
dancing is good for
gardener?
everybody.
It is. It is. Are you a gardener too? Do you work out in the garden? Do you
Yeah, I
get?
do.
Because I
I
do
do.
too. I'm a green thumb, and it's
Oh
very
yeah.
therapeutic. Yeah, it's very
What do
therapeutic to
you
get out there.
what do you like to grow?
Actually, we do everything. We do a multitude of different flowers every year, annuals, and of course the
Wow.
perennials that come back.
Right.
Vegetables as well
Oh
as
yeah.
yeah, fruits. And
Wow.
yeah, I really get into it. It's to the point where when I was a kid, growing up in New York, out east on Long Island, the neighbors would always want me to come and landscape their yard.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. How old were you?
About 12.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
12, 13. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're just a natural born gardener.
It's just really, yeah, I used to watch relatives, like older relatives do it. And it was
Yes.
just always, and my father has always done the azaleas, the rhododendrons are very,
Oh
big with the
yeah.
yard and the lawn and the rose
Yes.
bushes and everything. And just really, and they say that during the pandemic, gardening was the number one hobby that people did
Who had
because
never
it's
done it. Who had never done it
never did it
before,
because it's
which I
something
find
that
amazing.
right. It's kind of like every year when there's a snowstorm, the hardware stores always sell out of shovels. And I'm like, didn't you have a shovel last year? It's like, I don't
That is
understand.
kind of odd, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
you'd
Yeah.
think that they
Yeah.
would, but maybe they just moved to a
Maybe it
snowy
broke
area.
or
Maybe it broke. Maybe it got lost in the snow
it's
and they
kind of like the
couldn't
bread and milk
hide it.
thing. Got to get the bread and
What's
milk.
that?
Get the bread and milk.
Oh, get the bread and milk.
The
Yeah,
bread and milk. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
used to do that for
Yeah.
tornadoes.
The
There's a
bread and milk.
tornado coming, get the bread and milk. And even though, why? Why wouldn't you get something better? But no, I love to garden.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't actually
What's
gardened
your
as much
specialty? What do you
this
like
year.
to do?
Well, I've done everything in gardening. I have right because we live on top of a mountain. What we have is kind of a New York terrace, but in a rural area. So I just have a small space. So when we first bought this house, it had, we were the first people to ever live here. So it had nothing, nothing. It just had like bare construction dirt and nothing else. And so I had to design everything. And um,
And
by
that's cool
design,
to do that,
because
right? Design.
there's not much, yeah,
That's cool to do
uh,
that.
it's really cool. And there's not much space because it's like a terrace. It is a terrace.
Yeah.
So I designed these raised planter beds that could hold a lot. So I have, I don't know, I have dwarf fruit trees that I planted there. I have oranges, two kinds of lemons, grapefruit, two kinds of peaches.
Wow.
I tried different things like blueberries and raspberries. They don't grow here. And I tried grapes. Nah, they don't grow here. Because we're pretty high up, and it's just kind of a mini climate to its own self. So you have to learn. So anyway, I have those fruit trees. I've tried various fruits and vegetables. What really grows best here are herbs. So I have
Yeah.
a lot of herbs, and herbs are so hardy if you plant them in the right light, and they just grow. And roses, I love. I
Yeah.
have a lot of roses. When I lived in a bigger, not a bigger house, but when I had a bigger yard, I had like a little farm,
Mm.
and I did corn and all squash and zucchini, and
Mm.
the
Yeah.
corn was my favorite because I
Corn.
did
Yeah.
the sweet white corn, Silver Queen. I
Oh,
did
yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. Oh my gosh, it's so delicious.
Yeah.
And
It's like
just
butter
all
and
kinds of,
sugar. Yeah.
it is like butter and sugar,
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
kinds of lettuce, and then but then sold that house, and anyway, that's a few houses ago. So now I don't have as much space, but I've got a lot crammed into a small space. And uh, anyway, I didn't do a lot of planting during the pandemic because I was actually really busy with
You were
other
busy. Yeah.
things like union business and Zoom performances. And just, I never had spare time that people talk about learning how to bake bread or something like. I don't have time for that.
Did
I
you
would have
clean
liked to.
closets?
No, I didn't have time for anything like that. I thought, oh, this is going to be great. I'll
Yeah.
organize photos. And I never
Yeah.
had the time because all I did was work.
Right. Right.
So now I think my house looks worse than it did
That's right.
before the pandemic.
It was like,
I know,
you
you
didn't
know,
realize you have all this stuff.
oh, it's ridiculous. I really want to downsize,
Yeah, yeah.
get rid of some stuff.
A lot of people have done that too. They sort of minimized
Yeah,
everything and cleared things out because this has been a pivotal, sort of look in the mirror moment where people have been looking at the mirror and saying, okay, what do I want to do with the next chapter? What do I want to
exactly.
do next? Am I doing things that fulfill and serve me and, make me happy? And, how do I feel connected? And there's been a real craving for all of that. And a lot of people have been looking in the mirror and searching within and saying, okay, what do we want to do next here? How do we want to go forward and rise from the ashes again, more kinder, compassionate, more empathetic, unified. I'm a Libra,
Yeah,
so we're
for
balanced
sure.
and harmony.
Oh,
So
I'm a Gemini. We're crazy.
no
So,
extremes. I like to bring the extremes together, find the
oh
balance and
yeah,
harmonize it.
yeah.
Look for the harmony. I've been in TV studios and everything else where the place is on fire and this one's yelling and this thing's happening and
Wow.
they throw me out there and all of a sudden,
So you're good at emergency situations.
yeah, yeah. I always
Me
look for
too.
ways to calm the people, the scene, the scenario. Um, And you know why? I think I discovered recently it's because I don't like emergency situations. So I'm always working
Oh,
hard, extra hard to prevent
so there
problems
isn't one.
before they happen, to prevent problems before they happen, to
Yeah.
prevent surprise situations. So when they happen, I sort of roll my sleeves up and get right in there to calm everybody. They're screaming and crying and panicking and
Mm,
freezing in place. And I'll come in, strolling in, calm, cool, collected. Inside, my mind is racing and it's like a sport. Even when I do this
right.
kind of work, on television, radio, stage, it seems calming and reassuring, which it is because it's coming from the essence of who I am. But at the same time, everything is firing. I hear everything. I see everything. I know everything that's
So you're
going
like
on
you're kind of one step ahead,
ahead.
right?
Yes.
Because
Ahead.
you're like planning and observing and fixing and avoiding and but on the outside you're very calm, which is a
Exactly right.
great gift. That is a gift. It's a talent that not everybody has.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something that, well, a number of people that I've interviewed in my professional work say something like, well, Jim, you operate from a higher consciousness. You're an intuitive and
Huh,
you're a
nice.
high level empath. And I said,
I was just going to say, I bet you're an empath.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was just going to say that. Wow, that's interesting.
It's kind of
I
cool,
have
isn't
been
it?
told, yeah, I've been told the same thing, although I think you've got the organization thing down better than I certainly do. But I do remain calm. I know I always say to my girlfriend, when your hair catches on fire, I'm the one who will put it out and I won't get a circle. And so
Right.
she's always like, oh my gosh, I hope you're nearby if my hair catches on fire.
Right.
So it's like, oh, I don't know,
Exactly. Right.
you know,
Exactly.
dunk your head in water. What can I say? But
Right.
yeah. Uh, I don't get ruffled easily, and
No.
I think a lot of that comes from kind of a different type of childhood, and because I think that's where it comes from. I don't know where yours comes from, but it could just come from a higher power,
Yeah.
or it could just it's just who you are, who
Yeah.
you were supposed to be.
Surrounded
I
by
think,
a lot of people too that ran to the aid of others, family, relatives,
oh yeah,
parents,
oh nice,
sister, aunts and uncles. Um, but what we've had to learn, I know I've had to learn is, and it's an analogy that you hear a lot, is as a result, I've had to learn that when you're on the airplane and they say in the event of, the loss of oxygen, when the mask falls in front of you, put it on you first.
that's right.
I
Yeah,
still, about
you can help
6% of me,
others.
yeah, 6% of me still struggle. I understand it now, but 6% of me still struggles a little bit when I hear them say that. I'm like, that's so egotistical. That's selfish. That's greedy. No, no,
And
no.
it's
I'm going to
not. It's
help.
smart.
I'm going to help her or him next to me first. Help thy fellow man, help thy
Or the
neighbor,
children, the child on the plane,
help them
you know,
first. But
help
they
them first.
say you're supposed to put the oxygen on you first because you
Yeah, you
need
have to.
oxygen so you can help others. So
Otherwise, you're not able to.
I've had to
You're not
learn
able
that.
to, it is a hard lesson to learn when you are built the way that you are and that I am as well. It's a hard lesson to learn. But if you don't learn it, you're actually putting other people in danger.
You
So you
also
have
have
to
to,
look at it
like,
that way.
as you're putting out everybody else's fires, you have to make sure you tend to your own. As everybody wants you to run
Yes,
over with a bucket of water and rescue, you have to make
yes.
sure if you've got
Meanwhile, your hair's
something
on fire.
right, you've got to I've learned that. They're like, okay, I've got a little smoke coming out over here. I think I got to douse that first. I will be over in a minute, but first I have something I got to douse first. Not everybody
Yep.
likes hearing that when you make that switch to realize you need to take care of a few things that you have bubbling, and then you'll run over to get to them. But they want you to get to them and drop what you're doing, which I always used to do. And now I'm like, actually, if I don't tend to that, that's going to build up and get worse. So let me get that taken care of, and then I'll run over to help the other. And then you find some people appreciate that, and some people don't. They want you running over there quickly.
Yeah, well, there's different types of people in the world, as we know. And some people are really understanding and some people are not.
Right.
And that's just the way it is, and
Just
everybody has flaws and everybody has great attributes. And everybody also has a story.
they
And
do.
that's what fascinates me about people as a writer, because I also write, but is that everybody has a story. The most boring person you've ever met has a story, and the
Right.
story is good and
Right.
interesting. And I always look for what's that person's story, even though that person is a mess. I know that they have a story, and I actually want to hear that story.
Hmm.
And it's interesting because everybody tells me their story, and I don't ask for it. They just tell me the story. So much so that my significant other will say, ah, why were you talking to that person, who is supposed to be actually, bringing us our dinner? I'm like, well, you can't believe what she told me. He's like, oh yeah, I can't. I've heard it
She opened up
23
and
years.
yeah,
So
there's a comfort level and trust that is established, and that they sense that they know that when they're telling you the story, and they might be sharing things with you, like I have all the time too. Constantly, people will say, I didn't expect to ever tell you that," and whether it's on live TV, radio, or just in
or to
person,
tell anybody that,
anybody that, but they know that it's entrusted and it's safe, and
Mhm.
you come from the right place, and you're going to be there to protect and honor,
And
and
you have
that's
empathy. You have
and the
empathy
empathy,
and
right?
the ability to listen. And I think that people sense that when another person, you make it safe for them to unburden, and that is something I I'm very happy that I have. At times, it's kind of awkward if I'm buying a pair of shoes and the shoe salesman starts telling me all these things. It's like, oh, okay, catch a
Yeah,
breath because
yeah,
I know where
because
this
you'll
comes
soak it in.
from.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's
yeah,
okay with me. It's
and
okay. And it
yeah,
comes out of the blue. It's very surprising sometimes. I remember being on a set just maybe 3 years ago, and I was about to go into a really difficult scene, and I'm just standing there waiting, for my cue, and this woman who's visiting the set starts talking to me and telling me about her recent really terrible illness, and then whips out her cell phone and starts showing me some pretty disturbing and graphic photos. And I thought, okay, Okay. So I said to her, I want to talk to you, but I want to talk to you after I finish this scene. And she said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I said, that's okay. I just got to go. I just got to go into the scene now. And so I did. I went and did the scene, did it a few times, did different angles, and then came out. And I was done for a couple of hours. And I said, okay, now tell me. And she told me. And it was really hard to hear, but it was so much harder to go through what she went through. So I thought, I can certainly hear this. I didn't go through it. She did.
Right.
And it was, it
But
was a
her
gift.
telling you
Mm-hmm.
was sort of liberating and freeing and comforting
It
for her.
was. Yeah,
Right.
she unburdened. And
Right.
I was actually very grateful. So that happened.
To be there and to experience that and to allow her to express herself. It's a beautiful thing. Have you ever thought, somebody had mentioned, I think Juanita in South Africa said you would have been a good, I've heard the same thing, a good therapist. Have you ever thought of going into anything? I mean, any of this work that we do, it has a lot of psychology involved in it. As much as it does branding, marketing, and all that other stuff, it has psychology involved in it. Have you ever thought of exploring healing work, coaching, any of that type of thing?
No, because for various personal reasons. But I feel like I'm very available for strangers to talk to. And I think that is what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to do this professionally, or I think I'm
I see what
supposed to
you
talk
mean. Yeah.
to strangers. So I'm supposed to talk to random strangers. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about strangers that come into an office and we sit down. No, I think I'm
Right.
supposed to be talking to random strangers.
As life
And
happens, right? And they come into your life, right?
yeah, briefly, very briefly,
Right. In and
uh,
out.
and I never see them again.
Right.
Uh,
It's an in and out. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
certainly friends, you have friends and you exchange stories, and I tell them my problems, they tell me their problems, but that's a different thing.
Right.
This is random strangers. And
Right.
it used to bother me. And and
Because they'd come
then,
up to you. Yeah.
well, yeah, just at the most inconvenient times, just like when I'm about to go do a scene, with Jon Voight. And
Yeah.
but but this is what happened, because this has happened. This whatever this is that I pull these people to me,
It's an
not
aura
intentionally.
that you're giving off, an energy you're giving off. Yeah.
I guess, and I've had it since I was a child. My mother's friends used to tell me secrets, their secrets, and I would think, "Oh, do I need to know that?" I'm
Right.
12. I'm
I'm
12,
12.
and
It's like, yeah.
you know, and but it was like, okay, whatever this is, and then so then I got, just I don't know, several years ago, I started thinking, gosh, this is this is constant, and maybe I'm because I don't give them advice. I just listen. And I know, am I doing the wrong thing? And I don't know, this is kind of intrusive, and it went away.
Mm.
It went away. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I have pushed away that thing that makes me part of what makes me me. Oh my gosh, I really wish I hadn't done that. And bam, start up again.
And it came back.
And
Yeah.
never paused again. And so much so that because I had told my significant other, I don't know why, people have stopped. Random strangers have stopped telling me these very personal things, and he's like, well, maybe that's the thing. And I'm like, no, because I miss it, and I feel like I'm supposed to be doing that, and now I'm not
Mhm.
doing it. And then once I had a regret, it came back full force, more so, even more so. And so I said to him, it's back. He said, I know. I see people at parties. I see people when we're in the grocery store. I see people. And he said, I know it's back, and it's fine. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's
So he
totally mine.
knows when you're together and you're at a group setting, if somebody goes, Lee, you got a minute? He
Oh yeah.
knows what's gonna
It's like he goes, okay, I'll go
he's
over here and
I'm gonna go over
I'll go.
here and refill my glass or go get some
Yeah,
chips or something or
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So he's amazed by it
yeah,
because he said,
yeah,
I've never seen anything like that. And I'm
yeah,
like, I haven't either,
yeah,
actually.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I think it's a gift. I do, and I think I'm
yeah.
supposed to be doing that.
It's the essence of who Lee really is. Yes,
I
it's
think so.
Lee, authentically Lee, right?
I,
And it's a beautiful thing.
I guess, yeah, I think it is. It's
It's a
fine
beautiful
with
thing,
me.
and you're aware of
Yeah,
it, which is great. You're
I'm
aware of
very
it.
aware of it.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah, yeah.
I'm very aware of it.
Right. Yeah,
And it's okay. I
yeah.
have fully
It's a
accepted
great
it.
thing.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah,
It is
yeah.
a
At
great
first,
thing.
it could be a little, "What is this?" And is it, some may even say it's like a burden or because you feel like a weight on you to always
Yeah,
be available and there and present but actually you realize, like you say, it's actually a gift.
it's a
It's a gift.
gift. And plus, it does actually, in a strange way, feed me as an artist because you hear all kinds of stories and all kinds of people. And I think that makes me a better artist. You know what
Right,
I mean?
exactly, yeah. Mhm.
So I
It's
appreciate it.
understanding the human condition. You understand the human condition, yeah.
Yeah, because people are desperate to be heard. They are desperate. Not a lot of people listen. People
Right.
prefer to talk.
They talk.
They talk and talk and talk and talk, right? But a lot of people have a real hunger to be heard, and then they just move on. It's not like there's a particular relationship for them. There isn't. It's
Right.
just random strangers, and it's
It's
okay. And
yeah,
I take away something from it. I learn something from it. It's like, wow, I didn't know that that would happen,
yeah.
and people do those kind of things, and wow, how brave she is, and so it does. It feeds me as an artist on a lot of levels, and also on a spiritual level. I think it feeds me because I don't know why I'm supposed to do this or be available, like standing on a street corner and a cop comes up to me and starts saying, I just got to tell you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, I'm not crossing the street right now. And tells me. And I don't know. I think it's kind of a miracle.
Have you learned how to process it and, detach from it so it doesn't become
Totally.
something that you take
No,
on and then it stops you in your tracks,
no.
like, you feel so bad for the person or whatever it may be, you
Yeah.
wanna solve their problems, and
No, I don't
have
want to
you
solve
learned
their problem. Mm-mm. I'm just there to listen. That's all I'm there for. Because people, like I said before, people need to be listened to
they need to be
and they
heard, right?
need to unburden and they need somebody to actually hear them. And so it's not my job. It's not
Right,
what I do. I'm an artist, but
right.
you know, artists can change the world and have.
Mhm,
And I think there's a lot to that. I mean,
mhm.
wow, look at Leonardo da Vinci. Look
That's
at all
right.
the things that he invented. And he
Mhm.
was this fantastic artist. And he did the Sistine Chapel. And he did those beautiful sculptures of Mary and Jesus. And yet he was also a mathematician, and he he was a genius. And
Mhm.
so artists, and he did change the world. You know, I love artists of all kinds,
Yeah,
performing artists, fine artists, somebody who's an artist just with their own life.
yeah.
They have created their own life in
Mhm.
such a manner that you just sit back and you just have to admire it. Like, wow, look at what a beautiful home they created, what a beautiful
Right.
family they created. What an incredible life that they made, because we all get these lives, but it's up to you what you do with it.
That's right.
And which sounds really kind of hokey, right? But it's true.
But it's
And
true.
you see people who have artistically created their own lives and like everything about it. And I really, because I'm not that way, but I really admire people who have just created this whole 70, 80, 90 years of their life in such a fashion that you can just step back and you just have to admire it. And we all know people like that.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. It's incredible, isn't it? It's really incredible when you
Mm-hmm.
stop to really think about the beauty in life. It's really amazing, and there's a lot of wonderful people around. We lead such
There
busy
really are.
lives sometimes. We get so wrapped up and so busy that and this one thing about this year is that it's given us pause to really, again, realize that we're all in this together, and we're here, and life is short and life is precious, and let's take some time to enjoy and savor and celebrate. And we've always been in this scenario where it's always got to be the next thing, the next. So you do something and you accomplish something and you've experienced something, but you don't have any time to celebrate it or savor what you just experienced or accomplished, because you have to jump to the next thing. It's like, wait a minute, what we just went through to have that happen, and wasn't that phenomenal? Let's pause, have a cup of coffee, and like revel in it, and then we'll go to the next thing that we have to do. I've always been big about savoring moments and celebrating moments, capturing moments. And we've been so ramped up in our society where it's just like now and yesterday is irrelevant. It's always the next. I'm like,
the next. Yeah.
If you're always chasing next, then why are we even doing any of this? Yeah,
we
you got
live in
to
a rat race. We do.
Right.
I wish that
right.
I wish I could do more. I am like always like moving on, and oh hi Anne, thank you so much.
Yeah. You're an
Saying that.
amazing human being. You came in just at the right time. Anne is in Southern California as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, great.
Yeah.
We're having beautiful weather today, I must say.
You guys are. Absolutely.
But I strive to be more like that because I have a lot of energy, and I always like to keep moving forward. And I would like to be more like that, like each moment. And I have to work on that. I definitely have to work on that because I move very fast.
Yeah, you move fast.
And from this to this to this to this.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I just I just have to stop. And I was in my car yesterday going from one place to this place, and then it was like, I think I'm going to turn off the radio.
Yeah.
And I turned off the radio, and it was just me inside my car, and it was quiet, and it was nice. It was like, wow, this is nice. And then I thought, no, I'm going to turn the radio back on.
Yeah.
I did.
I might have missed something, right?
I might have missed something in
Breaking news.
In those 2 or 3 minutes, But for those 2 or 3 minutes, it was nice. And I do like, because I live in a very rural area, up in the mountains. When I take a walk or take my dogs for a walk, it's great because we have a lot of smells up here. Nice. Sage. We have a lot of sage, and it's just sage is all over the mountains.
Nature.
It's like, oh, does that smell good? That
Beautiful.
Sage. And then I grow a lot of lavender, different. I don't know how many different kinds. A few different kinds of lavender. So I like to do things like that, to just take a breath, and I need to do more of that. And it's not something I'm great at.
And while doing all of that, you've had this prolific ongoing career in. Yeah. Look at this. We'll take
one of my favorite shows.
Yeah. Tell us about this one. Yeah.
Well, that is Mark Harmon and myself, and that was my first Prime-Time Emmy nomination, and um, it was really that was one of my favorite roles and one of my favorite shows. It was a very big TV movie. It was based on a book that won some big award, some I forget what. And anyway, we played migrant farm workers, and it we learned they we shot in Northern California in the actual areas we were. So it was during the Dust Bowl, the United States Dust Bowl, and when a lot of people lost everything in the South. In fact, my great uncles, I think I had six, but there were five who they lost everything because when there's dust that comes in dust storms, everything dies, and so they could no longer farm or plant or do anything. So they all, like classic grapes of wrath, they all got in their ramshackle cars and they drove to California. And that's how that branch of my family got here. And they weren't migrant farm workers, but they were definitely blue collar, and they did find work and they did have lives because they did that. And so when I did this role, and the book was based on the writer's, I think, grandmother and grandfather. And Bessie Robertson was my character, and Mark was Hank. Was that Hank? Can't remember. But we were brought up to Northern California early because we're city folk, and we were taught how to pick, and so we were out in the fields with people who were actual migrant farm workers, and they taught us how to pick things. And the main thing I remember was the artichokes, because which gave me a huge appreciation for eating an artichoke after this. But artichokes have razor edges, and so when you pick artichokes, you have to wear heavy duty gloves if you have them, because the edges of the artichoke cut your hands and your arms just like a razor would. And even though we were wearing gloves, we did get cut up. And man, and we were taught how to pick other things, but the thing that really, because we had to pick, on camera, and we had to look not like idiots and, city folk who were like pretending, but we had to look real. And it was just a great role. It was a great project. I combined my accent between where we had supposedly come from in Texas, which was the Piney Woods area of Texas, and then we had gone through Oklahoma. So I did this kind of compilation of accents, and then helped the young actors with their accents. And so that was really, really, really fun. And Mark is wonderful. He's so wonderful to work with. He's just what you think. He's just
There's
a real
another
guy.
blast from the past.
Oh, there's a blast from like
Michael
long
Douglas,
ago.
right?
Oh my God, look at that hair that we both had, and how cute he was. He's so cute. He was cute.
Color
Anyway,
or black and white, right?
Oh yeah, black and white. Yeah, there's some color ones too. I don't know. There's some great color ones of Steve McQueen and me that I have that are actually on my social media. But yeah, Michael and I, we were young and we got along great, and he was wonderful, because I had to audition. Once I got the job, and I had to audition the guys. Yeah. So I auditioned several guys, but then they kept saying, well, Kirk's son, and he's really good, and he's done a couple of movies, and so they brought Michael in, and Michael, of course, got the role, and he was terrific. And in fact, in my office, because I also did a movie with his father, but years later, and called Eddie Macon's Run. And in my office here, you can't see it from here, but I got a letter from Kirk about 2 months before he died at 100 and what was he, 103 something. But he had heard me on an interview because Kirk and I got along really, really well. And I just thought he was a mensch, if you know what a mensch is. Do you know what a mensch is? That's like a
I've
guy.
actually been called one by
A
a
man.
New York
He's
City weatherman who said, "Jim, you
yeah.
are a mensch."
Well, that's the greatest compliment you can get just about as a man. And so I was doing an interview and they asked me what was it like working with Kirk Douglas and Michael Douglas. And so I talked about Michael and I said, and Kirk, I worked with Kirk several years later and Kirk is a mensch. And I told this whole story about Kirk, what he did with my mother and my stepfather, who had never visited me on a set, never had any interest in visiting me on a set. And really, I don't like people to visit me on sets because I'm working,
You're
and
focused, right?
I tried to explain it to my stepfather, like, how you like, he was a doctor, how would you like in the operating room and people come and hang out? And he's like, well, I wouldn't
Yeah,
like that. I said, well, I don't like it when people come visit me on a set, unless I have a day off. Anyway,
right.
my mother and my stepfather surprised me on the set of this movie that I was doing with Kirk and John Schneider, and just showed up, and it was very puzzling to me and confusing, and also, I had to get up at 4 a.m. the next day to go to work, and they didn't understand that. I'm like, that's when I go to work, and I have to go to bed. It's 8 o'clock, and so Kirk, because I was talking to him and saying, oh boy, how am I going to entertain my parents and work? And he's like, let me help. And so he just took them under his wing, and between Kirk and me and the director, we got them to be extras, background in a big scene, and I got my mother's makeup done, and Kirk just regaled them with stories and said, ask me anything you want, and then had pictures taken with him. I mean, he was a mensch. And so Kirk heard me telling this story just last year, 2020. And so he sent me a letter that I have. And man, it's a nice letter.
Yeah,
It's a really nice
yeah.
letter. And he's like, I heard you talking and brought back a lot of great memories and what a great time. It's a wonderful letter. So
That's
I keep
yeah.
it on my
So
bulletin
you
board in my
keep it
office. Oh
right.
yeah, yeah. I have some great
Yeah.
letters. I have great letters from Steve McQueen, Olivia Haviland, various people. There
There
he
you
is. That's
go.
the color. Yeah.
It's Steve. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hmm. Wow.
What was
My
he
mother
like
always.
for those who never had a chance to work with him or meet him? What was he like offset? The same guy?
He's the same guy. I mean, he was a very passionate guy for his work, for his life, for his kids, for his wife. Um, he was but he was God. It's hard to describe, somebody like
Yeah.
that because he was larger in life, a different way than from Orson. He was a race car driver, a
Hmm.
professional, and he was a real go-getter, and he was smart. He was incredibly smart, and of course, he was a brilliant, brilliant actor. And he would have done so much more because he was only 50 when he died,
Right. Right.
and he was 40 when I met him. I thought he was old,
Mm.
and
Right. Right.
I look at that now and think, oh my gosh, because he was my parents' age, and he was he was also funny. He was a
Yeah.
very funny guy. He would say these funny things just out of the blue, and they weren't like silly funny. They were insightful
You're
and
right.
witty funny.
Witty and
And
right.
yeah, yeah. And he'd led a life. I mean, he had been in a boys' home, where troubled boys go and
Hmm.
uh, to be fostered, and I still get every year something from them and called Boys Republic. And he was very generous to them. and for saving him. And he was just an entrepreneur
Yeah.
with beyond compare. And it's just, he was the best. He was the best thing that ever happened to me in many ways.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
Thank
You've had
you.
an opportunity to do a lot of different things. Look at this shot.
Oh, that's from Big Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What was it
Yeah,
like
that
working on
movie.
that?
Oh, it was insane and great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, we still, all the cast, those of us who were around, um, we still know each other. And there were five of us, five principals, and it was Jan
Yeah.
Michael Benson who passed away. We had a
Yeah.
memorial for him when he passed away. And Gary Busey and Billy Catt, William Catt, and Patty Garbenville and me, and we were the core cast. And oh, that's a different movie. That's Valley Girl.
That is Valley
Yeah,
Girl. Yes.
yeah, that's Valley Girl. I played the sexy stepmom. That's Big Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's
That's a great
Gary and
shot.
yeah, it's a great shot. There were some wonderful photographs, iconic photographs taken. Brilliant photographer, Gemma Lamana. She was incredible.
Mm, mm.
Um, yeah, and everybody was, you know, young, and I had never surfed and never wanted to surf. I did not surf, but
Yeah.
uh, Jan was almost a professional surfer. Gary had to learn some things, but he surfed and Billy surfed. They weren't as
Mm,
good as Jan. Jan
yeah.
was, if he had not been an actor, he would have been a professional surfer because he was that good and he loved
Yeah.
it that much. And
Yeah.
it was too bad that he succumbed to drugs
Yeah.
and alcohol
Yeah.
and ruined, you know, a really brilliant actor. I when I first saw him, I saw him in a TV movie. Boy, what was the name of that? Somebody out there must know. Some of the Lovedies must
Mm,
know.
yeah.
And he was like a Greek god.
Yeah.
And then not long after that, then we did Big Wednesday. Of course, the director and the writer, John Milius, is
Yeah.
I think he's Hollywood's greatest storyteller, and
Mhm.
we're still friends. And I mean, gosh, look at the things he wrote. I mean, he
Yeah.
co-wrote Apocalypse Now
Mhm.
with Francis Coppola. He wrote Conan the Barbarian. He wrote Big Wednesday.
Mhm.
He wrote The Wind and the Lion. I mean, he
Yeah.
really is, I think, the greatest storyteller Hollywood has ever known. Right up there with
Yeah.
Frank Capra and different style, but I
Yeah.
think he's right up there. And so he wrote Big Wednesday. It was kind of based on his life as a surfer
Mhm.
when he was a kid. And but yet this movie, if you haven't seen it,
Yeah.
it is set in a different era than when we shot it, and it
Mhm.
covers, I think, about 13 years uh, of like earlier, more innocent times, and then the Vietnam
Yeah.
War happened,
Right.
and the world changed, of course,
The world
after
changed.
Vietnam. You know, the world changed,
I think the very
and
first time I saw John Michael Vincent was in The Mechanic with Clint Eastwood.
that was
Not Clint
who's
Eastwood,
that?
with
Charlie Bronson.
Charles Bronson. Yes.
Yeah, I did. I
Yes.
did
Yes.
Mr.
Charles Bronson
Majestic with him.
with
Um,
Charles Bronson. Right.
I think I don't know if he did that after Big Wednesday or before. I'm not sure. I don't think I ever saw that. I just can't remember the name of the TV movie I saw him in. It was like a single
Mm.
word, not tribes, but
Well,
something.
don't worry too
Oh.
much because if you do, you might go stir crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Gene Wilder. Wow. Tell us
Gene
about this.
Wilder, the Wild
Mm.
Man.
Yeah.
Gene Wilder. it was sad because we were supposed to do another movie later. But anyway, what happened. But he was really quiet
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
shy. Did you ever
Mhm.
talk to him or meet him?
I hadn't, but I had heard that shy and quiet is exactly right. Gilda Radner, when they were married, she was much more vocal and funny and just
An
vivacious and
extrovert. Yeah,
Jane,
I heard that
an
I never
extrovert.
knew her. Yeah, I knew him after she had passed, but we made
Right.
this afterwards, right? And but he was not what you would think. Like a lot of comedians and comic actors are that way. It's all there
Yeah.
on the stage, or it's all there on the screen, and then in
Yeah.
person they're not like that. And he wasn't like that. And then
Yeah.
Sidney Poitier, directed that, and
Yes.
I had actually auditioned for a different role that Jo Beth Williams got, and who was fantastic in that role.
Oh, yeah.
But Sidney Poitier called me at home, and he said, "Look, I want you in the movie, but you're not right for that role. You're too young. You're physically too small." I got told that a lot, actually, for various roles. You're physically too small. He said, "But I want you in the movie. There's this opening scene in the movie, and I want you to do that." And I was like, "Okay." I mean, this is Sidney Poitier. It's Gene Wilder. It's Richard Pryor. Sure. And I said, "I'll do that." And I said, "But I want to negotiate," which was really silly, but I want to negotiate my own contract. And he started laughing, and he's like, "Well, fine, whatever." And I said, "So this is what I want, because this is what I want." And so I got exactly what I want, which it was like crazy, um, really crazy. And so I got the feeling I wanted, and I got everything else I wanted. And then I went and did that role. And
Yeah.
so I never, I think I only negotiated one other time in my life, because that's what your agent does. It's what your
That's
agent,
what
it's
the
what you
agent
pay your
does.
agent for, right?
Right.
But I don't know. I was just in a mood, and I don't know. And I did that. And he said, "Fine, I'll just tell
That's
them
amazing.
that's what we're doing." And I went,
That's it.
"Okay." Yeah.
That's
So I
it.
did that. And it was fun. It was fun. I think I
That
was there a
movie's
day,
become a
2 days.
classic too.
A
It's
total
become a
classic.
cult
Yeah. I
classic.
mean,
Yeah.
it it is.
Yeah.
So let me get some.
It's such a classic, you get choked up over it.
Yeah,
That's
I'm really
that's
choked
it.
up over that.
That's it.
But it was fun. It was fun. I
Yeah.
mean, I got to work with Gene, and I got to hang out with Richard, and in fact, and what's so strange is full circle.
Yeah.
Um, and then years and years later, in fact, recently, in the last like maybe 2 years, I got to know Richard Pryor Jr.
He's a
And
friend of mine and his sister
is he
Rain.
really?
They're
Oh
close friends
God,
of mine. He's
I know
amazing, isn't
Rain.
he? And Rain as
Yes,
well.
I love him.
Yeah.
I'm reaching for my earpods, because my AirPods are dying, and one just fell out of my ear in
Like an
protest.
earring, right?
Yeah, it just fell out of my ear, and
Well,
so
they're
I'm just
excited to see
getting
what your chair looks like anyway. They like to see the chair
what?
that the guest. They're excited to see the chair that you're sitting in anyway, so they see your chair.
Here's my
There it
chair.
is. There's
There's my
Lee
chair.
Purcell's chair.
Yeah, my chair, which has like 3 pillows on it. I think I'm just going to take my AirPods out.
So Richard
There's
Pryor Jr., huh? Yeah, he's a mutual friend, and his sister Rain.
Yeah, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her, but I actually met Richard through Harlan. And
Yeah,
then hold on, everybody.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Everybody play amongst yourselves. Refill
Look
your
for
glasses. Put an ice
Henry.
cube in your glass.
Oh, I plug this in. There it is.
That's it.
And I'm back in
You are
business.
back. You were
You
back
know,
in
those AirPods, they don't last that long. I mean,
They
you
don't
charge
last long
them
for what they cost, right? They don't
for what
last
they
long at all.
cost.
Yeah.
And they fall out of my
They
ears.
fall out of the ear and
I want to put them back in the charger. Anyway, stir crazy. So that is
yeah.
the story.
Yeah. You mentioned Kirk Douglas. Look at this.
Well, that's not Kirk Douglas.
Oh no, that's Lloyd
That's
Bridges
Lloyd
and with
Bridges.
Beau.
That's Lloyd
Lloyd and
Bridges and
Beau.
Beau
Yes.
Bridges.
Yes.
And
That's a
that
great
was
show.
thank you. That was my second Emmy nomination for that, Secret Sins of the
Congratulations.
Father. And Beau, friends, Beau directed it. And I starred opposite him and Lloyd. It was like a whole Bridges clan movie. I think there were 7 of them in it. And it was great. I wanted to be adopted by the
Yeah, we
Bridges.
want to be one of the Bridges.
Oh
Lee
my
Bridges.
gosh. Yeah, because they're just the best family ever. And you know, what you see is what you get. There's no phoniness. They support each other. I had Beth for a long time, but I didn't know Beau or Lloyd or the rest of the tribe. And so I got to work with, I think it was 7. I think it was 7 Bridges. Of course, Lloyd has
Wow.
passed on.
Yeah.
Dorothy, his wife, has passed on. And but it was just a great experience, even though I was playing a woman whose husband, played by Beau, cheated on her. And then my father-in-law, played by Lloyd, cheated on his wife with the same woman. Yeah.
Sounds like a Lifetime movie.
It wasn't, though. It was like
Yeah.
a big network movie,
Yeah.
you
One of
know,
the
but
largest.
yeah, it was pretty
Wow.
pretty risque, you know, when you think about it. Oh, that's just a modeling shot. Yeah. Where are you getting
What a
these?
great one. Isn't that fantastic? We do our research, huh?
Oh my
That's a
gosh.
cool shot, isn't it?
That's a really pretty shot.
So was it for a specific project or
No, it's just
yeah.
modeling.
Yeah.
Maddie Jade, who created the fan page on Instagram, Lee Purcell FP fan page, if anybody wants to go there, put that up recently. I think that's a really pretty shot.
It really is.
Yeah, it is a pretty shot.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, just to show versatility and how versatile you are as a performer, you have that very pretty shot there. And then
Thank you.
that is versatility.
Well, it's too bad you can't see that very well. It
Yeah.
needs more light on it.
You got to zoom in on that. Yeah. Look at those eyes.
Yeah, those eyes were unbelievably painful. That's from.
So you had to put that over the eye, right? So like a contact lens or something?
It was. Now this is called Summer of Fear, aka
Yes.
Stranger in Our House, and I played 3 different characters in this. This was the witch, obviously, and then I played this like small town Ozark with an accent, you know, cousin. And then the third character was a British governess. But those, I wish you could see the eyes better.
Yeah.
Because they were like bright red.
Wow.
Bright red, red and white. And they were horribly painful. And they were hard like seashells. I always think of them. And I actually own those. They gave them to me. So I have them. And they were
Would
like,
they place over your eyes like contact lenses?
Yes, they had to bring a doctor in because I couldn't put those. I couldn't put those in. They were too painful.
No. How
So
long
he
did you
would
have to
come
keep them in?
Well, all day. You
All
know,
day.
I mean, as long as we were shooting scenes from that particular section where I'm playing the witch, and so they brought a doctor in and an eye doctor, and he would put drops in my eyes. It's strange, the things you do when you're an actor, right?
Yeah.
So they put the drops in my eyes to deaden my eye because there was no way I could tolerate these things on my eyes. And then, but they only had a pinhole to see through. And so they would have to walk me to my marks. You know, that's where you stand so the camera can see you. and then I would do the scene, and then I know they said to me one day, "Oh, don't worry, because we'll just walk you to all your marks, because we know you can't see anything,
Hmm.
and except for a little pinhole,
Yeah.
and you'll never have to do anything else." Well, of course, that wasn't accurate, and so
Yeah.
they put me in a car and said, "Just drive as fast as you can up this mountain road, and it's curvy, but you'll be fine. And you got to wear the eyes because because we're going to have a camera, like right
Yeah.
on the dash, right in your face, and you got to wear the eyes." And so I'm driving up this mountain road, which has like a steep drop. Why do
Yeah.
I do these things? I had a steep drop off to the side, like where if you went down that drop, you would not survive it. And I'm driving like a mad woman. I can't see anything, and they're talking to me through a walkie-talkie, saying, "Here comes a curve." And I'm like, "Oh, which way? Which way?" And they're like, "To the left, to the left." And so when you see this scene, if you ever see this
Now you
particular,
appreciate what Lee Purcell went through to bring you that fabulous entertainment.
yeah, yeah, and
She risked her life and
I
limb
did,
for
yes.
your entertaining pleasure.
So if you see that, if you ever see that particular TV movie, I think
Yeah.
it was NBC, and you'll see this scene where I'm frantically driving. It says, "I saw that, but I didn't see what the person said." Oh, yes, they sure have. Oh my gosh, thank you, Juanita. You will see I'm driving like a mad woman, because now I'm this crazy witch, and but you can't hear the fact that they're saying, "Here comes a
Yeah.
curve.
Here comes a curve.
You're gonna stop here," right? And then my big fear was the camera crew was in a certain spot, and I
Mm.
had to drive up this mountain, drive around, and then I had to hit my mark with the car, which you do, and you know how to do that. You're trained to do it. But the camera crew was right there, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, if I miss my mark when my car was, I'll kill all the camera crew." And because I was driving right into frame, and I was so scared. Not for me, I was scared for
Mm.
them, right? And I hit the mark, and they were okay, and and everybody went, "Oh, oh, thank goodness you hit that mark." So when you see that movie, if you ever do, it's Wes Craven directed it.
Oh,
Uh,
Wes Craven, yeah.
oh, I
You were
loved him.
talking about, speaking of Wes Craven, you're a close friend of somebody who was just on actually a week ago, Dee Wallace.
Yes, Dee. Yeah, known Dee
Yeah,
since, like I said, '78. We did
yeah.
a crazy pilot together. Oh, wow, God. Um, called Jackie's Girls. Marriott Hartley played Jackie, and we all played. It was supposed to become a series. It's probably a good thing it didn't. And but we were all playing World War II female pilots, of course, which there were,
Yeah.
and very certainly underappreciated. And so we were that's what we were playing, and it was based on a true story, even though they took such liberties with the story. But Jackie Cochran was a real life person who was back in World War II time. She was a cosmetics like queen. She created an empire in cosmetics, but when the war came along, she was very concerned about what was going to happen, and so she created the Women's Air Force.
Mm.
And so all these women, she recruited all these women, and they went to. I love Wes Craven movies too, Juanita. So all these women, some were already pilots, and then some trained. They trained in Sweetwater, Texas. It's a great, great story. In fact,
Yeah.
another friend of mine in present time is doing not a remake of what we did, because what she's going to do is going to be a lot better. But she's doing that story. She's doing it,
Mm.
and she'll do a much better job.
Mm.
And I'm thrilled that she's doing it, because it's a great story that really
Yeah.
has not been properly told.
Yeah.
And I think she
yeah.
will do a really wonderful job with it. She's producing it. And
They'll
so
do
forth.
justice with it.
Yeah, she'll do justice
Absolutely.
too, because those women, the story isn't very well known. A lot of those women died.
Yeah.
And because their job, they had multiple jobs, but their job, one of their main jobs was to ferry the planes from point A to point B, which was often across water. And they used the women to ferry the planes instead of the male pilots because the women were considered to be expendable. And the male pilots were considered to be non-expendable.
Non-expendable, yeah.
Yeah. So you had women who were dying.
Right.
To get the planes to where they needed to be so the pilots could take them and go overseas, wherever. And then you also had them ferrying the actual pilots from point A. I mean, I'm not talking like across the road, but thousands and thousands of miles. And then there was also a branch in England. I think they were called something else, WASPs maybe. I forget, but it is a great story, and it should be told in the proper manner. And I know
proper manner.
I know my girlfriend will do it, and she's a producer and quite brilliant. I know she'll do it in the proper manner.
James Garner.
Oh yes. Oh, what a great guy he was. Oh my gosh.
Tell us what this was from.
Rockford Files. Yeah, Rockford
That was a Rockford
Files.
Files episode.
Yeah, I don't remember much about it.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about episodes of things because you go in for like
it's a quick
week.
Night. It's not like a movie. Yeah.
No, it's not. Where a movie you're on for many months and a series you're on for years. But he was unforgettable.
Yeah.
And he taught me. I'm not going to do it. So don't ask me to, but I can still do it. He taught me how to cross. He taught me how to cross one eye at a time. And I still know how to do it. But I'm not going to do it right now because I'm wearing contact.
What a tease that is, huh?
I know, but I'm wearing contact lenses, and you can't.
Oh, that would be very. That would be.
The lens will pop out of when I do it. The lens pops out of my eye.
The lens pops out, and
yeah, and that would not be good. And then I'd be on the floor, looking for my lens. So
yeah.
But that is
great working with him, huh?
Oh yeah. He was a wonderful guy. He was really a gentleman.
That's what everybody has said that about him. Yeah,
he was
real professional and just a good, welcoming. Yeah,
very welcoming. He was a great guy.
One of the good guys,
and taught me my. I have two favorite party tricks, and that's one of them: crossing my eyes one at a time.
That is quite amazing, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's tricky.
Another gift.
Another gift, right? But he was doing, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm crossing my eyes one at a time." And I said, "Well, can you teach me?" He went, "Yeah, sure." So he did.
That's amazing. Here's another.
I know
shot.
the things you learn. What is that?
Yeah.
From?
Looks like you're in front of
that's Big Wednesday.
That's Big Wednesday there.
Yeah. Wow, what a pretty shot that is.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the colors.
Yeah.
That's a really pretty shot.
That's a very nice one. Absolutely.
My gosh, can you send that to me because I don't have it?
Yeah.
Can you email it?
There's another shot.
I don't know what that's from. What is that?
I wonder what you're saying.
I don't know, but I look like I'm kind of like
what? Are you kidding me?
What?
The many looks too. It's amazing.
No, that is not me. You know that, right?
That's amazing. Yeah, what is that?
That's Valley Girl. That's Debbie Foreman and Nick Cage. I am not in that photograph.
What was it like being in that? Yeah, what was it like being in that?
Now that's one of my shots from Valley Girl. What was it like? Well, I'll tell you. It was salute to. Oh, nice. Thank you, Jennifer. My dad was a Marine pilot. Oh, thank you, Anne. How sweet of you. So here's what Valley Girl was like.
Yeah.
And mind you, we are all still friends too. In fact, Heidi, Heidi, who was one of the stars, she might
Yeah.
be watching this. I sent her a text and said I'm going to be on the show today.
Hmm.
And anyway,
Thanks
we're
for
all,
doing that. Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah. I put it on social media. So it was kind of for us who were the adults, right?
Hmm.
For us, it was like, my dad's got a barn, let's put on a show. You know what I
Mm.
mean by that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that the Levities know what I mean by that.
Hmm.
There was no money to make this movie. I think the whole movie cost $250,000 or $350,000. I mean, there was just no money.
Yeah.
And the way it happened with the adults, now with I call them the kids. If Heidi is listening, she'll laugh at that. But she played the other star besides, oh gosh, Heidi, forgive me if I can't remember your character's name. But
Maddie just said something. I think Maddie just chimed in and she said the last photo was from Magnum PI 1985.
Maddie, how do you know that? That's
Amazing.
amazing.
Tom Selleck, Magnum PI. Yeah.
Maddie is an encyclopedia.
Yes. Absolutely. She's the one, if you need to phone a friend, you phone Maddie.
That's true.
See?
That is true.
Yeah, because you have like a Magnum PI. Yeah, you have
that's
this
a
looks like
lay.
there's a lay
That's a
around
lay. Oh
you. And
yeah.
yes,
Oh, I would have never
yes.
have known that.
All right. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a fun shoot because I got to work with dolphins up close and personal with dolphins.
Did you
But
really?
yes, but let me finish telling you about Valley Girl
Yeah.
first.
And
Okay,
thanks, Maddie.
so thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Maddie. So the way this happened was that it was just friends calling friends
Yeah.
and saying, "Hey, we have the script, and you want to be in this movie," and that's how it happened with all of the adults. And I think Colleen, hi, Maddie, I see that. I think that Colleen Camp called me up because we have been good friends for years and years, and said, "Oh, there's this female director, Martha Coolidge." And I went, "Oh, wow, a female director. Well, that's exciting." In those days, that was very unusual. It's still too unusual.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, "You want to do this?" And I went, "I don't know. Can I read the script?" She said, "Sure." So I read the script. I went, "Yeah, I would like to do this. This sounds like fun." And so we all furnished all of our own clothing from our own closets. A lot of the locations that you see in the movie were people's houses, friends of friends. And then everything was done on an absolute shoestring. And then the kids, who are now, of course, grown, the kids had to audition. And so they did. And then the cast it's a great cast. It's just a wonderful cast. And then Nicolas Cage was, I think he was like 18 or something. And Martha was frantically looking for an actor to play this role and just couldn't find the right person. And then somebody said, "Well, Coppola's nephew, and he doesn't like people to know he's Coppola's nephew. And he's also, it's a whole big film family. The composer, famous composer, was his uncle, is his grandfather, and then the star of Rocky played opposite Sylvester Stallone. She's a Coppola. She was, I forget. Anyway, they're all related. Anyway, so they say you should look at this young actor, Nicolas Cage, but don't mention that he's a Coppola, because he doesn't use Coppola, even though that was his name. He didn't use it, still doesn't, as you know. And so she did, and she just thought he was perfect, and he was really perfect. And so basically started his career. So that was Valley Girl. It was a fun little shoot that made a gazillion dollars. And then there's other factors. But anyway, that was Valley Girl. So I don't know. Wow, look at my hair color. Wow, that's unusual. I don't know what that's from. I have no idea. Maybe Maddie knows.
I bet you Maddie does.
I bet she does. But I do not know what that's from. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's amazing the amount of roles and the versatility too. I mean,
Oh, thanks. What's that? Is that me?
amazing, huh?
Are you sure that's me? Oh, yeah, I guess. I'm not sure that's even me. Is that really me?
I love your expression.
I mean, are
Yeah.
you sure that's me?
Both here.
I don't know what
Hey,
that's.
Maddie will chime in a second,
Maddie will
I'm
chime in.
sure. She'll chime in. We got
Or
another
my,
one here. Look at that shot.
oh, well, that's my best friend.
Karen
Yeah, and
Black.
that friend is that picture. The exact
Yeah.
picture is right up here on my
Is it?
yeah,
Yeah.
exact same
That's a
picture.
terrific shot.
Yeah, somebody took that. I don't know where we were. I have no
Mm.
idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my best friend.
Known each other for a number
Oh,
of
I just got
years, right?
I just got a text from Heidi.
Did you?
Yes.
Regarding the photos?
Uh, no, regarding Valley Girl.
Oh, Valley Girl.
It just because remember I said if Heidi is listening, she's gonna.
Yeah. So she's tuned in.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it appeared on my iPad and now it's gone. But she said I laughed exactly and then it vanished. Okay, Heidi, I got it. If you want to text me again, Heidi, and tell me the name because I don't know, I can't remember all the roles.
Ah, the
Even though,
Rockford Files, 1974.
how do you know all from this? Is that Rock? No, that's not Rockford Files because that is such a different look.
Think that
Now
one you think is
that's probably Rockford Files.
Rockford Files.
I'm guessing just because of the hair color.
Yeah. The time period and
the length. Stacy. Yeah, Heidi just Heidi just texted me the name of her character. She was, the second star in
yes,
Valley Girl is Stacy. So
is Stacy.
thank you, Heidi. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Heidi, and thank you, Maddie.
Thank you, Maddie. Thank you
We
very
love you
much.
all.
It's nice to have such a good group, So I guess that was Rockford Files. And I don't know what, it's just, like I said before, doing episodic TV is,
Yeah.
you're kind of in and then you're out.
Exactly. I mentioned, with all of this television, stage, film, you also serve on the board of the Actors Union SAG-AFTRA, an elected
I
position.
certainly do.
Voting
I
member
certainly
of the
do.
by invitation only prestigious Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences, the Oscars, and served on various committees there as well. Member of the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, which of course are the Emmys. And we actually have a more recent picture with you and I think some of the local LA committee. I believe it's SAG-AFTRA here.
Oh, no. Oh, well, yes and no. Yes.
I like that.
This is our radio play committee.
Mm.
And SAG-AFTRA radio play. Remember earlier I was telling you about how we have transitioned to performing on Zoom. And that is where we perform. We perform at the Gene Autry Museum, which if you're familiar, it's a very, very famous museum in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. It's next to the LA Zoo. So sometimes when we're performing, no joke, we hear the lions. And because we perform around 6 or 7 for our first performance, and that's when the lions are actually waking up. Yeah. So we hear the lions roaring while we're performing. Anyway, and that is the theater, the Wells Fargo Theater, at the Gene Autry Museum. Now, I am not actually in this photograph.
That's the group.
That's the group, but I'm not in that photograph. But that is part of our group.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's kind of a fluid group, but we have a very stable, about 15 people.
Here's another group of fabulous folks that I know are wonderful friends of yours. And I believe this was at a birthday party celebration for the wonderful Barbara Eden.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was Barbara's birthday. And that is Danelle Dadigan, my very good friend, who owns and is the president of the Hollywood Museum. I may be getting that a little bit wrong. Don't get mad at me. But she created the Hollywood Museum. And it's, if you have never seen the Hollywood Museum, when you come to LA, and it is reopened because it's been closed for a year, but it's going to be reopened, I think, fairly soon. you must come to the Hollywood Museum because it is, I believe it's 5 floors, I think. It's in the old Max Factor Art Deco building.
Oh yeah.
Which is on Hollywood Boulevard and I think Vine. And it was being ripped apart, literally. It was empty, vacant, and it was going to be turned into, I think, condos or something. Donnell, who is brilliant, brilliant businesswoman, she stepped in, she bought it, and it took her 2 years because they had done such damage and such disservice to it. They had taken off all the gold leaf, they had sold off the artifacts. It was all gone except for the shell of the building, which was still gorgeous. And so she spent 2 years having teams of people search the country and going to auctions and buying back what they could find. And then she renovated the building, and it's gorgeous. And
I got to get there. I've heard so much
to.
about it. Yeah, everybody keeps telling me, Jim, you've got to come here for this.
Oh, you will just love it. You will just totally love it. I'm sure Harlan Bowl, my publicist, whom you know very well, can arrange for a tour.
Yeah,
and
that would be fantastic.
Oh, it's incredible. She has the best collection of Hollywood memorabilia that you can imagine. I mean, down in the basement, she has Hannibal Lecter's. It's really quite scary, actually. She has Hannibal Lecter's torture chamber, and she has, oh gosh, everything. Batman and everything. It just what she has done there is
incredible,
miraculous,
preserved.
And then, of course, that's Lonnie Anderson next to Donnell.
Yeah.
So that was, I don't know what we were doing, but I think it was Barbara's birthday.
Barbara Eden. Wonderful.
Yeah,
there's
I think it
Jeannie.
was.
Jeannie.
What? Yeah, there's
Jeannie.
Jeannie. Yeah. That was. I remember that. That was a nice evening. Oh.
It's a wonderful shot here, huh?
Yeah, my good friend Bob.
Yeah.
He's gone. Robert Forster.
Yes. Yeah.
What a great actor he was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was taken of us at not the Oscars, but what was that? It was it's an awards. It kicks off. Oh boy, it kicks off Oscar season. Or it did when we could do things in person.
When you could do things in person, right?
Yes, like this weekend, we would be going crazy because this is the last weekend before we vote. Well, people are already voting, but it's the last weekend. I think voting ends on the 20th, right, which is a few days. And instead of like going to all these really wonderful events and seeing all your friends, we're watching all these great movies on our laptops. And so, oh, poor me, I'm complaining. I'm not complaining. Don't worry.
No,
I know I'm in very rarefied company. So, but that was Robert, and I just can't remember the name of that awards show, but it's the first one every season.
Yeah. Here's another great shot here. That is with Matt Damon.
Oh, you got to be getting this off my social media.
Matt Damon.
Yes, that is Matt Damon at a party. And that would have been last year. I think last year. You guys have been pilfering my
really nice
Facebook page.
Now this is all the former child stars. Allison Arngrim, who was on the show. Stanley Livingston, who was on the show.
Yep.
Bruce Valanche is there on the right, who was on the show. Yeah, what a group, huh?
Yeah, it's not Golden Globes, Heidi. She just texted me Golden Globes. It's not. It's something else. I can't remember. Yeah. That was a fun thing. That was all these child stars and me. I was a child performer, but I was certainly not a child star.
Yeah.
Who else is in there? Carolyn Hennessy is in there. That's, you guys have been lifting things from my social media. Good job. Oh, that's Donna and me.
Yeah. you
Donna
guys were in
P.
a
That's
recent
Donna.
production, right?
Yes, we were. That's Donna
Yeah.
P. and Donna M. and me.
Donna
Yes.
Mills and Donna
Uh-huh.
Pesco. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
And we're all good friends. And
You all look marvelous.
thank you.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
from Carol of the Bells, which we did. It was released in actually 2020, early 2020, I think. And that is a wonderful movie that Joey Travolta directed. And we had 70% of our crew had disabilities because they were Joey's students. He has film schools for people with disabilities so they can work in the industry as
That's
professionals, and they
beautiful.
do.
Yeah.
It's really wonderful. And then 3 of our cast had disabilities, including my good friend Jerry Jewell, and who has had a really terrific career, starting with Facts of Life and Deadwood
Yeah.
and so forth. And then Andrea played Carol of the Bells, and so forth. And it was a really great cast. It was a really good cast. And that
Yeah.
is available now. We had our premiere and all that, and that was, I think it was early 2020, I think. I'm not sure. And it's available on all the streaming
On all the
platforms.
streaming platforms. And
So if you want to see that,
you and Donna again. That's another great show.
yeah, that
Both
was
look
just a nice. Oh,
fantastic.
that's a really, yeah, you guys have really been
Remember when
lifting
she
from
played
us.
Angie?
Sure, of course.
Angie. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys have really had fun with my social media. But that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, I think we
Digging
were
in.
at, where were we? I don't know where we were. We were somewhere. We're good friends.
Wherever you were, you guys look very, very happy.
Yeah, we were.
Very,
That was
very
when we could
happy.
go places, you know.
That's when you can go places. Exactly.
But we're almost
Exactly.
there. We're almost there.
Well, yeah, right. Exactly. I just
Yeah.
got my second dose Wednesday.
Oh, how do you feel?
Great.
You
Yeah,
do?
great. Yeah.
You didn't
Just
have any
noticed
side effects or?
just the next day after, maybe just a little tired, maybe a little achy, just a little bit. And then, so I what I did was I planned to take the day off that I had the second dose Wednesday from even this show as well as my other professional work off. And then the day after I took off, which was
Okay.
Thursday, just,
Okay.
just you got to rest and chill out anyway. So I did that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, everything is terrific. Yeah. Good
Good. I'm
stuff.
glad.
So about the first dose, really nothing. I didn't really feel anything.
The second one is the one that
Yeah.
I did the single dose, so hope I
The
don't get
Johnson
blood clots.
Yeah.
But it's been over a month, so I'm sure I'm okay.
And I think they
But
said now it's with having the second dose Wednesday, 2 weeks from that date is when you're in the clear as far as everything is kicked in and
right.
you're, fully vaccinated. Whether we have to do it again in 6 months to a year,
I'm
that
not
we
going to be
don't
happy about
know.
that.
Kind of like the flu shot. Is it going
I
to
don't
be an
like.
annual thing?
I don't like needles, and I don't know anybody who actually does like needles. But I mean, I really don't like needles, and it was a little unnerving for me.
It's amazing the twists and turns of life, huh? The twists and turns.
Yeah, it's
That's why you got to
strange.
savor every moment because you never know. You just never know. Life can
you don't
throw a
know.
lot of things,
Yeah, it can.
at you.
It can, but
Well,
also life is good.
life is good.
Let's not
And
ever forget that. We're lucky. We're lucky to
yes,
be here. We're lucky to do what we
do
love.
what you love, right? Exactly.
You know.
Inspire people along the way. And
Yes.
speaking of that, what are some of those continued blessings and joys in your life, Lee, that continue to inspire you to do the work that you do?
Wow, that's like a real light question.
Dig in.
Of course, my significant other, who I've been with for 23 years, and who is very supportive of me and what I do, and fairly tolerant of my shortcomings, and our dogs, and we are going through some things right now with one of our dogs. It's very hard. And then I have been blessed with friends. One of them you has been texting me, Heidi.
Yeah,
And
Heidi. Hello, Heidi.
Heidi
You,
Hollaker. You should have her on.
yeah,
And
I'd love, yeah, set
yeah,
it up.
she's really wonderful, and she's like you'll hear she's really something. Um,
You're welcome to join us, Heidi.
there you go, Heidi. I'll watch you next on this. And let's see. Well, a lot of my people who inspired me are gone,
Yeah.
but Steve, obviously, Steve McQueen,
Steve McQueen, yeah.
a huge inspiration in my life and changed my life forever. And then I had a couple of teachers in school who were, I mentioned him earlier, Mr. Cooper,
Yeah.
who was our band leader and who was completely tolerant of this 13-year-old girl saying, "Oh, I think I'm going to choreograph something to, I don't know, the theme from Psycho. And I'm going to design the costume." And he'd be like, "All right, fine, just do it." And he was great. And then I had another teacher who was wonderful and who knew who I was, and she was my journalism and my history teacher both. And Ms. Moore, I never knew her by anything else but Ms. Moore, and she was very insightful. And she said to me one day, "You can't stay here. You can't stay here," meaning where I was living, and which was great for many people, and many people I love still live there. And you are welcome, Jennifer. And but she knew that I was in the wrong place, and it was the wrong place for me, not for other people, but for me, it was the wrong place. And she said, "Make sure that you get out of here. Make sure you leave. You have other things to do." And
Yeah.
she was right. And I listened to her because she was one of the few adults who was actually spotted me for who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And then my grandmother, Shelley, well, both my grandmothers, Lenita and Shelley, were terrific and very pragmatic. And but my grandmother Shelley was the same way as Ms. Moore. She said, you can't stay there. And she was an interesting woman because she was bi-coastal before it was fashionable, and she would spend 2 years in California and then 2 years with us. 2 years. She did that for years and years, and she was just really ahead of her time, really quite something. And she was very encouraging to me, and she got me. Some people get you and some people don't get you.
Mm-hmm.
And you really have to surround yourself with people who get you.
Right.
And if you're not with people, you know what I mean by get you,
Yeah.
who know who you are and who understand who you are. And if you're not with those people, you shouldn't get with those people. You should find them, because those are your tribe, and you need to be with your tribe. And currently, I mean, and unfortunately, people do pass on, and unfortunately, my best friends have passed on, but I don't forget what we had, and I treasure that. And such as Karen, my friend Chelsea, my friend Sherry. But I don't forget the lessons that they taught me, and I don't forget the memories, and I don't forget what a good time we had, and how we went through tough times together.
Right.
And you want people around you who won't walk away when things get rough. And if they do, those are not your people. Those are not your tribe. And
Exactly. What did your
so
grandmother teach you, Shelley? What did she teach you?
everything. She taught me everything. Really, just she was a really courageous woman. My grandfather, she was. You got that off social media. Yeah, that was her. She was a great beauty, and very unusual looking. She didn't. It's funny. She didn't like how she looked. So in all the photographs, this was obviously taken, a long time before I was born.
Back
But
then,
no,
they didn't really smile in a lot of the photos. The photographers didn't really have them smile back then.
no,
Much more
no,
of a
but
serious shot with everybody.
but she didn't think she was pretty, and she was actually
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
in the photographs that were taken uh, when I was growing up, she would cut her head out in all the photographs. So we have all these photographs with this hole
Yeah.
where her head was, right? And she was really gorgeous. And
Yes.
and my grandfather dropped dead when he was 47,
Hmm.
very unexpectedly. And so she was left,
Is this your mother's mother or your father?
yes, my mother's
Your
mother.
mother's mother. Yeah.
And so she, rather than say capitalizing on her looks or going into a deep despair, she just said, "Oh well, I think I'll go to nursing school and become a nurse." She did. She moved to St. Louis and went to nursing school. Was top in her class, and became a nurse, and then became bicoastal. And she taught me courage, and also to not tolerate fools. And
Hmm.
thank you, Karen is an angel. Um, ah, brings me to tears. Anyway, she didn't
Mhm.
tolerate fools. She didn't tolerate stupid people. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Juanita. Um, so she taught me that, and she just had a way about her. She was quite spiritual, and she was. Thank you, Merlin. And she was uh, very fashionable, had a lot of style, and this was somebody who grew up in the Ozarks, and she looked like a model, dressed beautifully, and she made everything. She made all of our clothes. She made our curtains and our rugs and painted and wallpaper. I mean, she was very
Mhm.
self-sufficient, and she
Yeah.
was also a tremendous poet. So she was in my family. She was my greatest inspiration. My other grandmother was also a tremendous inspiration because she was also really courageous and
Would
had
you say there's elements of them that remain in you?
yes, I would. I definitely would, with no modesty. Sorry,
Right.
but I like to recognize what is, and yes, I would say that because neither of them were felt sorry for themselves, even though they went through tremendous loss
Yeah.
and tragedy, but they didn't feel sorry for themselves. They just kept going,
Right.
and uh, so yeah, I'm very grateful to have had those two grandmothers to teach me some really good lessons. And I was lucky that they lived into my adulthood,
Mm.
and they died within really about a year of each other. And but I was very fortunate to have them. And then now people who inspire me are my friends, and because I have really terrific friends,
Yeah.
and they all are hardworking,
Yeah.
um, successful to whatever degree they really want to be, and they're actually kind of like my grandmothers, which
Yeah.
is
It's
kind of
amazing. It's sort
strange.
of like a full circle
Yeah,
situation, huh?
it's kind of like a full circle that and they're supportive. And I am going through some things right now I won't go into, and they're there. It's like whatever you need, and wow, which is really nice. Denise, thank you so much.
Thank
I'm
you,
getting a lot
Denise,
of
for those
nice,
beautiful words. Thank you.
yeah, so nice. So, I think the secret to all of this is, like I said before, know who your tribe is.
Yeah.
And it may not be the people that you are
Think
related to.
right. Right.
It may not be the people that are supposed to be your tribe, right? You know who your tribe is.
Yeah.
And and you just have to keep building that tribe and adding to that tribe and growing that tribe. It's really important. I can't even stress about how important that actually is, because who are we
Right.
without friends?
Mm-hmm.
And some people got really lucky and they have great families who are still with them. And some people, ended up in the right family, and some people didn't. So you have to build your own tribe. Aw, thank you,
Well,
Heidi. You are,
yeah.
Sorry. Eh,
Well, yeah. Well, and guess what? You're in ours now. You're in our tribe, our family. You're now
thank
a
you so
Lovety. You're a
much.
Lovety.
Oh, yeah, great. I
You're
want to be a
you're
levity. I'm
Jennifer
happy.
asks, ever want to write a book?
Yes, I have been. I have started a few times. It's kind of hard because you don't know how much you can say without absolutely offending
Everybody else.
everybody, pretty much.
Wait, was that me you were talking about in page number 49?
Yeah, was that me that you said was this way? And
It's like that what, FBI with Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. Only the names have been changed.
I might have to change a whole lot of names, right? But no, I have been approached because I've had, I guess, an interesting life, and certainly
And
interesting
still
to me,
do. And
and
still
still
do.
do, and still do.
Yeah.
Certainly interesting to me, and I have been approached by a very big publisher,
Publisher,
but
yeah.
we'll see if it goes anywhere. These things come and go sometimes. So and people keep saying, you should write a book, you should write a book. And it's like, I don't know if I should write a book, because if you write a book, you may have to say some things that you really don't want to say. And I don't know that I want to do that. So
yeah.
It's not that I have anything to hide in particular. Well, we all have things to hide, but
Maybe she'll do a movie of the week.
I was actually offered that.
The movie of the week?
Oh, yeah, I was offered that, gosh, several years ago, about a particular thing that happened in my life. And we started moving forward with it. And then we had legal challenges getting rights and so forth. And so we ended up having to drop that. And so I don't know, but thanks for the idea. Appreciate the idea.
I tell you, they're here to help. This really was sensationally.
Really, we've gone on a long time. I thought we were going to end like.
Isn't that something? It never seems like it too. Everybody says it just sort of goes by like in a New York minute because we get so comfortable and it's so warm and welcoming. But I think what's wonderful too about our conversation, Lee, and again, it was a real pleasure having you here. And hopefully,
it's my pleasure.
Whether you come to the East Coast or I'm on the West doing a TV shoot or something, I'd love to get together, break bread. That would be a pleasure to do that.
Oh my gosh, it'd be great. See a live human being
who's
nice would be. I tell you, I missed seeing my friends. That's the thing I have missed the most about, and I think for everybody that's true. Christine, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Christine. I think that's the thing I've missed the most about this whole pandemic was I don't get to see my friends, but I'm going to start doing that really soon, because we all are taking the right precautions and doing the right things. And even though I hope that there's no side effects, you got to do something.
You got to do something. Well, I tell you.
My cousins are my very good friends.
The cousins,
I have really close friends. I mean, really
cousins that are close.
Yeah.
Are these going they may be getting ready to go. So
I think they are. I think we should go. I think we
will break bread one of these days soon. But this truly was a real pleasure, and I think people got an opportunity to really know you a little bit more, not just as the wonderful actress, that they've seen in all these wonderful roles, but the essence of who Lee Purcell really is as the person. I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, Lee, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I had with you. Oh, your voice. Your voice, yeah. No, it's like, oh, almost something there. Maybe without it.
There.
There you go. Now we hear you. That's fine.
All of my devices. They're all
Yeah, all the
live here.
devices have been exhausted.
Yeah.
But it really was a pleasure. And Maddie says, bye, Lee, thank you. And Anne says, yes, I found a beautiful tribe in the last few years. Love them so much. Yes, Lee is part of our tribe. Jim has built a beautiful community. Thank you very much. And Merlin in Canada says, night, Lee. Jennifer Berry says, thank you for spending time with us. Slancha, the Irish toast.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
It was beautiful, and I hope it met whatever the expectations were you had, and that you did enjoy the time with me as much as I have with you, Lee.
Yes, and now my iPad is dying. I can't even low battery notice off the screen. So
yeah. And Denise says, good night, Lee. It was a pleasure, and I do really hope you enjoyed yourself, Lee, and thanks for all the wonderful time.
Really had a ball. It was a very deep, insightful conversation and a lot of fun. So thank you for having me on, Jim. I really appreciate it.
You are very she says, stay safe, Lee. That's Kathleen in New York City. And Denise says, good night. And somebody that wants to say good night to you as well, Mr. George Burns was in the house tonight. Does the Hollywood Museum have this? Yeah, probably.
They probably do.
They probably do.
So good night, George. Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Lee Purcell. Thank you very much for joining us. You're a blessing and a real joy to have an opportunity to chat with tonight.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all the Lovities for hanging in there for this very long.
They do. I tell you, it's this is one of the short ones. We just let it roll. Scott Schwartz, the actor, was on, and he just had so much he wanted to say, and we just let him roll. He went on for 6 hours live. I'm a very congenial host.
You're very, very thoughtful, and I appreciate that. So
that's my pleasure.
Now
beautiful.
To die.
Yeah, everything is just.
It is. So thank you, Jim. Bye-bye. Thank you, Batiste. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Heidi. And talk soon.
All right, Lee. You take care. Have a good night. Have a good weekend, and stay well.
Thank you, and the same to you.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. That was a nice fade to black, wasn't it? Jennifer Barry says, thank you for having Lee with us. Please bring her back. Love her. Absolutely. She was amazing, wasn't she? I tell you, the time flies by. It's really amazing. You know, when we do these shows, we just let it roll, and wherever we take it, we take it. And as long as the guest is here and they want to, chat, we, like I was saying earlier, we don't cut people off, and we don't stop them, and we have a wonderful time. And sometimes we go in many different directions. And tonight we sure did. And Lee is a beautiful person and a tremendous talent, and involved in so many charitable organizations as well. And she gives back, and that is beautiful. She's been involved in many charitable organizations throughout her career. Some of her charity work has included Heart of a Horse, Veterans Entertainment Team, Big Brothers, Special Olympics, Paralyzed Veterans of America, among many others. So she's somebody who, has lived a very full life and still does, and creates and, connects with people. She knows what life is all about, and beautiful spirit inside and out, and a tremendous talent, really a Hollywood veteran, a Hollywood legend. And she's graced our presence so many times in television and film and stage. Anne says, love this so much. Thanks for another fantastic show. Have a blessed weekend, everybody. You as well. Merlin, night, and to you as well, and all the Lovities. And we will be back tomorrow, gang. Tomorrow, we have a show earlier at 2 p.m. Eastern. Ryan Kelly, live from Ireland, the wonderful Irish singer and musician and songwriter. Ryan Kelly, I know everybody, there's hundreds and hundreds of people that are going to be tuning into this, and they're all excited. He's a buddy of mine. I've interviewed him multiple times on PBS over the years through Celtic Thunder. And of course, you may remember a few weeks ago, Neil Byrne from Celtic Thunder was with us as well. Both of them also team up for Byrne and Kelly. Tomorrow, special time, 2 p.m. Eastern. That is 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific live. So if you want to join us live so you can comment and participate, make sure you are reporting for duty at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And we're doing it earlier because 2 p.m. Eastern is 7 p.m. in Ireland. So we want Ryan's family and friends and any, the fans to be able to watch and comment and be a part of it as well, not just watch it later, in the archives, but to actually be a part of it as it's happening live, because I know a lot of people like to do that. So Ryan Kelly is with us tomorrow. Kathleen Walker says, it's fun to see the reactions when the guest realizes how much time has passed, isn't it? This is your happy place. I know they look at the clock. Wow, we've chatted, but all the guests say it never feels like that, because we don't want it to feel like that. We want it to feel warm and welcoming. Tribes are us, Jennifer says. I've been treated to a birthday dinner tomorrow, so I'll be here at some point. Lovely to all. So we will be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is the show. We're going to have one show tomorrow. We were going to have Judy Tenuta, but that's going to be rescheduled. So we won't have a night show tomorrow. We just have the one show tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, with the incomparable Ryan Kelly. I do want to let you know that coming up as well, we have the wonderful, legendary singer and entertainer Angela Beccari with us on Monday, joined by Nicholas King. Together they shall be Monday with us live on the Jim Masters Show Live. Angela Beccari, Nicholas King are going to be with us. We're very excited about that. On Tuesday, wonderful playwright and actor Grant McDermott is going to be here live. That is Tuesday. Then coming up on Wednesday, Grammy-winning composer Lindsey Jones is going to be with us live exclusively on the Jim Masters Show Live. Thursday, mentalist, magician, and escape artist Michael Lee is going to be here. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then there's a brilliant writer and author, Calvin Fisher, who has a new riveting book out. He's going to be with us on Friday. We're looking forward to that. Next weekend, the Hyde Kings are going to be with us live from Ireland. We're very excited about that. So again, tomorrow, we're just going to be doing one show. That's a late breaking update. And that'll be the one at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, with Ryan Kelly from Celtic Thunder live at 2 p.m. Eastern. And in coming weeks, Patrick McEnroe, tennis star, ESPN correspondent, is going to be with us as well. Brother of John McEnroe, too, tennis legend. Nathan Pacheco is going to be with us, the wonderful singer and songwriter. He's going to be here as well. And Lisa Kelly is going to be with us, from originally from Celtic Woman. She will be here as well. And so many others. We're booked with guests all the way till June. It's going to be amazing. You too, Claudia. We'll be here tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern with Ryan and Kelly. So hope you'll join us then as well. Anybody who missed anything, who would like to see this episode again, this was something very, very special. Definitely check us out on our YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel. We would love that. That really helps the channel. So subscribe to Jim Masters TV. Don't forget to smile, gang. Don't forget to share the levity. We talk about that all the time. Don't forget to find your Zen place. Mine is the ocean, swimming, surfing, boogie boarding it, sailing it, walking it. We're just blocks from it here on the coast. We're very blessed and very lucky. Grew up near the ocean. The most important time, like Lee was talking about, family and friends and loved ones, very important. That, to me, that is my ultimate Zen place, is with loved ones and family and friends. Of course, my work in television and radio and stage throughout the years is also Zen. Do what you love and love what you do, if you're able to do that. If not, if you're not doing what you love, maybe there's a way you can work that into your life. Find something that really speaks to you. And don't forget to relax, gang. We always say, relax, breathe from the diaphragm, love one another, and love yourself. You got to take time for yourself as well. So relax. We do love you all. We're here. Our regularly scheduled time is 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific for the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. So you can find us again here generally at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We've got a busy week, bevy of guests next week as well. Thanks for having Lee as a guest. She's a wonderful guest. It was nice learning more about her life and career. It was a great conversation. Lee's a true lovety. Lee certainly is. Good night, lovety tribe. Yes, the live shows are the best. Thank you, Anne. I know you're a huge fan of Lee. I'm so happy that you were here and got a chance to participate live as well. Again, if you ever miss anything, gang, that's perfectly fine. All the episodes we do archive for you on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. And again, if you could subscribe to the channel, we would absolutely love you for that. And if you have already, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And so we're going to chill out the rest of the evening here. We'll be back 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow with Ryan Kelly. And then we'll do one show tomorrow. We were going to do two, but we're going to do one. Judy, we have to reschedule. So we're going to do another show with Judy down the line. So look for that. But we'll have one show tomorrow. A good one, too. Ryan Kelly's going to be here. And then Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's really incredible, huh? And if you missed an episode, 24/7, 365, there you go. On our YouTube channel, all of the episodes are there. And again, we thank our very special guests, the one and only Lee Purcell, for joining us live and direct from California. She was wonderful. We had a lot of fun looking at all the photos too, and she was pinpointing some of the different shots and the different people. She's worked with so many. Amazing story about the eyes in this one, huh? And incredible shots. Magnum PI too. And there's Jen Michael Vincent and Gary Busey, and just some really incredible shots. Karen Black, of course. This is a wonderful one, more recent, with Barbara Eden too, and Lonnie Anderson, the whole gang there, Donna Pascal, and even her grandmother. We dug that up. We work hard at the show to really, give you a variety of different things. Look out for this one too. She said Carol of the Bells. That's very recent. Former child stars. And there's Donna Mills and Donna Pascal with, of course, Lee in the middle there, and Loving Life. And again, she's done so many incredible things and continues to over the years. She's a treasure. And then, of course, the wonderful relationship with Steve McQueen, the wonderful actor Steve McQueen, who we lost way too soon at the age of 50. She said, it's had some wonderful words that she shared with us about Steve as well. If you missed our earlier show, we had an amazing show with Andy Sandberg from the Hermitage Artist Retreat in Florida. And he's the CEO and artistic director. He's also Tony-nominated producer, Tony-winning producer. And Andy and I had a great time, and it was really fantastic. Jennifer says, had a great tribal time with Lee. Jim, can we have her back anytime? Full moon blessing is coming soon. Blessed be you as well. And Anne says, this is my Zen place. Thank you very much. A lot of people say that, Anne, and I really appreciate that. That means a lot. And we'll be here for you. As long as you guys are here, we'll continue to be here for you all on the Jim Masters Show live. So have a good rest of your day. If you're watching live or if you're watching this in the archives, we'll be back tomorrow, Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, with our buddy Ryan Kelly from Celtic Thunder. This is his second appearance on the Jim Masters Show live, and we love that. All right, gang. Claudia Bartow says, good night, everyone. Good night to you as well. Thanks for joining us. This is your host, Jim Masters. Thanking you. Good night to you, Kathleen, as well. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, we'll be here tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day, gang. You guys are the very best. We love you all. Thanks for the comments, the tweets, the Instagramming, the tweeting, the Facebook messages. I want to let you know, too, we have a new group on Facebook. It's called JMS Live Lovety Hall. So it's a group designed for fans of the show and my work and JMS Live. Feel free. Everybody's welcome. It's on Facebook. You just look for JMS Live Lovety Hall. It's a new group we created. You guys asked for it. We created it about a week ago. And a lot of you are very active in it. And I pop in from time to time to say hello as well. So it's a new group we have designed on Facebook just for all of you fabulous Lovities and friends. It's JMS Live, Lovity Hall. Watch for it on Facebook. You can also find me on Facebook on my page, Jim Masters TV, as well as Twitter and Instagram at Jim Masters TV. And of course, our YouTube channel is Jim Masters TV. Night, night, squad. You got it, Juanita. It's late for you, I know. It's about 10 to 10 here. And whew, it's like almost morning, right? You're making the toast and coffee yet, Juanita? And hearts to you, Ann, as well. All right, gang, we love you all. Thanks for sticking with us and being a part of another great Saturday night with Hollywood veteran actress, the incomparable Prime-Time Emmy-nominated Lee Purcell. We thank her for all the time. It was a blessing having her here, and a blessing having you guys here as well. Jennifer says, thank you, me Ocean Zen. You got it. Gang, you guys are the best. We'll see you tomorrow on the Jim Masters Show Live, okay? Catch you then. Be well, stay healthy, and we love you all. Good night.